Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Welcome back, everybody. A verdict has been reached. Oh my word, and it is in 2.5 hours. Let's watch.
All right, you can have a seat. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court just, and I say this just to reference to you by numbers. We start down at the far right and run down this way, 1 through 6, upper right, 7 through 12. So, Miss Juror number 7, you are the foreperson, and the jury's arrived at a unanimous verdict. All right, if you would, please, ma'am, stand and announce that verdict on behalf of the jury.
We, the jury, find the defendant Blaise Taylor for count 1, guilty of second-degree murder. For count 2, guilty of first-degree premeditated murder. For count 3, guilty of first-degree felony murder during the commission of a felony. For count 4, guilty of first-degree felony murder during the commission of a felony.
All right, if you'll turn that document in, please.
Damn. Oh my word. It's not quite, is it LWOP tartar? I don't know, but holy crap. Guilty of second-degree murder for the murder of Jade Benning, guilty of first-degree murder for the baby, and then 2 counts of guilty of felony murder. Whoa.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you can back up just a second. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you've heard your foreperson, juror number 7, announce your verdict in this particular case, that you found Mr. Taylor guilty in count 1, second-degree murder, in count 2, first-degree premeditated murder, in counts 3 and 4, felony murder during the commission of a first-degree murder. I'll ask you if that is your individual verdict. If it is, you would indicate it is. If it's not, you would indicate it's not. Juror number 1, is that your individual verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 2, is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 3, is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 4, is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 5, is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 6, is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 7, the foreperson, is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 8, is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 9, is that your individual verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 10, is that your verdict?
Yes, sir.
Juror number 11, is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 12, is that your verdict?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. As you know, we'll need to discuss with the attorneys further issues in this case. Don't discuss the case any further. We'll get back with you here shortly. You can step down the hallway with the court officer.
Wow. Within 2.5 hours, you guys. And he's been out on bond this whole time, right? He's been out on bond. He's not going home tonight. He's going to get cuffed now. What is the attorney saying here?
All All right,
Thank you for
Mr.
joining me
Taylor,
here
you've
for the
heard
murder.
verdict of the jury in count one. It found you guilty of second-degree murder. That verdict, as well as the other counts, guilty in count two of first-degree murder, counts 3 and 4, first-degree felony murder, will become the judgment of the court. In terms of counts 2, 3, and 4, will be the need for further sentencing hearing. Does the state contemplate introducing victim impact statement?
Yes, Your Honor, upon the court finding that by the jury's verdict that we would be entitled to do that.
Okay. We'll take just probably a 15-minute break and let everyone settle down in terms of initial verdict. Come back and hear that proposed testimony under State versus Nesbitt, and then see Mr. Brand, Ms. Hollins, Mr. Joyner, what mitigating factors you want to submit or find that's necessary to submit to the jury. So,
The state's position is that Nesbitt only applies in death penalty cases.
what,
As far
what I'm
as
talking
doing-
about as far as victim impact 403 analysis.
Under Nesbitt, if it's life without parole, there is no analysis.
So you
That
can,
is, there's no dry run unless it is a
You
death penalty case.
you can just have whatever that may be overly prejudicial.
No, it will be victim impact under pain.
Okay. And does Mr. Brand, Ms. Hollins, you have prepared proposed mitigating circumstances?
Yes, Your Honor, I think there are mitigating circumstances, mitigating factors we would argue to the jury.
Okay, all right, if you'll get those,
I think we need a minute probably.
That was
okay,
so
as I
fast.
said, we'll take a short break, but let me ask the state this, there are cases with, obviously with the finding in count one, that wouldn't be considered by the jury, but there's also, I think it's Hargis versus State, that does apply to any felony murders that your notice that you submitted, the felony murder portion, I think it's your number 2, wouldn't apply in counts 3 and 4.
Disagree, Your Honor, because it is Middlebrooks. It is not a Middlebrooks situation. It is within the legislation that amended the statute post-Middlebrooks, so that is something the state submits the jury can consider in a felony murder sentencing,
That an aggravating factor is the felony murder.
which is based upon that aggravating circumstance, which is above and beyond just the definition of felony murder.
What do you mean by that?
Well, that the jury would have to find the aggravating circumstance that, again, that it is not a Middlebrooks situation, so that the state's position is the jury can consider that as an aggravating circumstance. That was the whole issue in Middlebrooks.
But there's some that would only apply to certain counts.
Yes, Your Honor, the age of the victim, certainly.
Right. All right, we'll take 15 minutes and then come back and hear from the defense in terms of mitigation.
Yes, Your Honor, the state would like to be heard or see that. And
Yeah, let them.
we have an argument about
Mr. Taylor, and by law, Mr. Taylor, your bond has to be revoked, so if you'll step into the back and talk with your attorney.
Oh my word. Is he going to get an outfit change now too? Come back in orange or what? They're taking a 15-minute break, so let's all just recap. Grizzly, be holding for your sticker. You said woohoo, and Briget, J, FLA, so justice for Jade and Ivy. Look, they're all wearing purple for Jade and Ivy. It sounds like the prosecutor's smiling her ass off. Shame. This is Jade's mom. sounds like they're going to sentence him right away. Am I right? Am I right? I'll go back. I'll go what? Oh, we will replay it. Don't worry. We've got 15 minutes, okay? Blaise Taylor looked like he was going to pass out, huh? I will come back to this. Let's go to where it happened so fast. You know how normally it's like they give you 20 minutes? Oh, I was running. I was running so fast through this house. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's just go here because the judge is you just saw the courtroom and the judge is like, all right, here the jury has reached a verdict. And then I'm like, run, verdict. And here we go. Okay, so let's replay. Wait, welcome everyone. Replay verdict. Okay, so this is how it was. Sorry, mods, I didn't even let you know. I just ran. I let everyone on Patreon know, though. I did do that. Bella's mom said, has it been 8 months? Time flies. Thank you for your support. So there he was. Damn, and I mean, I think it could have gone either way. I think it could have also been a hung jury. But whoa, in 2.5 hours, they reached a verdict on guilty on all counts. The first degree murder for Jade was guilty second degree is what they decided on. But for everything else, whoa, okay. So yeah, the ex-girlfriend's testimony mattered a lot to show the pattern. Because remember, when Apple Denny was on the stand, she said that Blaise had asked her if he could put, like the morning after pill or something in one of his girlfriend's drinks to make her have an abortion without her knowledge. Ooh, that was hectic. Even though it was like 9 years ago, right? Okay, here we go. So we're rewatching this. We've watched the verdict read once together already. We're rewatching it because there's a 15-minute break and then they're coming back to argue mitigating the defense, mitigating evidence. Otherwise, he's going to get LWOP'd. Because based on the charges, he could get life with the possibility of parole after serving 51 years, 5-1, or life without parole. Damn. Grizzly Lou says, justice, I love it. Thank you so much for being a member for 15 months. What do you guys think of the verdict, by the way? And the verdict was reached in 2.5 hours.
Staff's been made aware that the jury's arrived at a verdict, so we'll let them step down and announce it. Just out of respect to the jury, just keep your reactions, if any, to yourself, and we'll deal with it. All righty.
So that's what happened there. Rang the jury. So because the jury said guilty second degree for Jade and guilty first degree for the baby, they too think that perhaps, it sounds like, right, how the state also put it in their closing arguments, that I would guess the speculation from what I'm interpreting from that is that they think that maybe Blaise, right, put the cocoa, here we go again, try to censor it, cocoa in the drink to make Jade have an abortion. But maybe when she said, you're scaring me, and he said, you're scaring me, maybe he didn't expect that reaction? Or do you think, tell me again, we're still at that question, do you think that he intended to murder both Jade and the baby or just the baby? Based on what the jury voted, I think that they think he intended to murder the baby and ended up murdering Jade too. Either way, he's held responsible for both. But I do wonder what his intent was, right? Godzilla from Tokyo said, LWOP with truffle oil, please. Is anyone shocked by the verdict? Surprised? Is it exactly what you expected? Tell me in chat.
All right, you can have a seat. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the jury, the court just, and I say this just to reference to you by numbers. We start down at the far right and run down this way, 1 through 6, upper right, 7 through 12. So, Miss Juror number 7, you are the foreperson, and the jury's arrived at a unanimous verdict. All right, if you would, please, ma'am, stand and announce that verdict on behalf of the jury.
We, the jury, find the defendant Blaise Taylor for count 1, guilty of second-degree murder. For count 2, guilty of first-degree premeditated murder. For count 3, guilty of first-degree felony murder during the commission of a felony. For count 4, guilty of first-degree felony murder during the commission of a felony.
All right, if you'll turn that down.
He has no reaction ever in the courtroom, right? I know now people say, maybe he's medicated, maybe he's this, maybe he's that. I don't know. I could just see he doesn't have any reaction throughout this entire trial. He's very blasé, as we've said, right? Just Veronica said, every time I watch a trial with G and the Grizzlies, justice is served. And you guys are answering the question. Robin said, very happy. Some of you said, Blueberry Art said, yes, shocked. Love Louis said, I'm not shocked. Vanessa from Mark said, exactly as I hoped. Notto said, no, not surprised. Italiana said, no, it was exactly what I voted and expected. Okay. And I think I've missed a whole bunch up there. Sorry about that. Just carry on.
Document in, please, ma'am.
He's got a different tie on now. Well, you know, from the other days was red and gray and... Oh, my word.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the jury, you can back up just a second. Ladies and gentlemen, the jury,
You could back up just a second. Okay, so now we've seen this, right? We've seen the verdict twice now, okay? So what they're doing is a 15-minute break, so I can definitely pay attention to you. We can go forward here now because they're going to be coming back. Let's do it from here. Patty DeAngelis, well, damn, thank you for your $50 sticker. You said, thank you, G and Mods. I appreciate your coverage and could never be in any place else. Never be any place else. You guys cover cases with open eyes and full hearts. Thank you so much. Let me quickly do this. Okay, wait. Maybe I should update the banner, hey? 15-minute recess. I'll just write that. And then sentencing? Am I getting that right? Is this judge? This judge is ready for his cruise now. He's ready for the 4th of July. Okay? Let's get to sentencing, everybody. Like, whoa, judge, you're gonna go there now? Is that so? Is that you want to LWOP this guy? I think the judge wants to LWOP this guy right now. Do you think that there are any issues that have come up in this trial that Blaise Taylor could win on appeal? Ooh, that's a loaded question. Loaded, hey? Kerry said, yes, intended baby got Jade 2 as reckless, in your opinion, right? You said 2.5 hours means sure. Thank you for your sticker. Okay, here we are now, and we were over here. Wait. We were here. Right here. That's Jade's mom. Shame. Najaya. Jody said that's what the defense gets for all their lying experts. I really think the defense was doing quite well in this case until they put their experts on. I'm like, yeah, you should have just rested. Don't put on any witnesses. I don't think any of the witnesses helped. I really think it made it much worse. I think they managed to poke some holes in the state's case. And then they should have just left it at that. That could have been interesting. This, those experts, oh man, and the way the prosecutor snarked at one of them was just so great. Let me just pause it here for a second. Sorry about that. I don't want to, I'm going to carry on from there, but I don't want to talk over this moment, right? So Robin Smith said, comments about truffle oil? What is the meaning? It's because he's a very fancy boy, okay? And for lunch, he has salad with truffle oil. It's just the vibe he gave off. So we just started saying that, okay? Now, the crime happened in February of 2023. So they've waited over 3 years for this. Yeah, if anyone's wondering, this, Cornel said this is Jade's family and friend. This is Najaya, who Jade called for just 6 minutes and, what was it? 6 minutes and 20 seconds, right? And said, what did you put in my drink? I mean, my drink tasted funny. You did this because you didn't want the baby. That, right? That was critical for the state's case. Angelia said, Angelia Garwal, can I express said, shout out to the medical examiner, Dr. Carney, who was a critical force with and to Jade's quick thinking. Her call in the final moments brought her justice and for the killer never kill again. I mean, Dr. Carney was amazing. I'm so glad that the state had a rebuttal witness as well, because, you know, defense muddy the waters on the toxicology reports and the autopsy and all that, right? 2.5 hours. Somebody's answering this question. Sorry, I didn't see the other answer. East Texas chick said yes, and he should win appeal. Can you imagine? If he wins appeal, are we gonna these days we just never know. Alec Murdaugh, Letitia stuff, Adam Montgomery. Hope not. Sarda Kay said, I think he had to murder both because then Mama would give him to the law enforcement officer in a heartbeat for the lack of her baby, just in my opinion, not with her consent. Westlander said, LWOP, 51 years, tomatoes. Helen Humphrey said, I think his intent was just to get rid of the baby. But he also had to know that if Jade would have lived, his ass was rasped because she would have had evidence of him dragging her to kill the baby. One just said I would have enjoyed seeing the talking taken out of the courtroom. We're probably still going to see that. They're going to sentencing next. One saps a place side laid out. Some people are not here with us that we're watching all day. They don't know, guys. They don't know the verdict's in. They went off to do something else. I didn't think this verdict was going to be this fast. I thought maybe tomorrow. 2.5 hours. Guilty on all counts. 2.5 hours. Colleen of Singer said he had a good defense. She tried hard, but it wasn't there. LWOP for Blaise, boy. I wonder if his mother or father will get up now with this arguing, you know, not for LWOP to say, I mean, 51 years still, wow. Okay, let's just go to live. They're on a recess. Yeah, they're on a recess and they said that they will come back and then, hello, what is happening? Excuse me. Movie mode, okay. Listen, don't have any power failures now, right? See, again, the judge was just waiting for me to go live, you know? That lady in Switzerland there, so you could read the verdict. Sandra Bunn said, my only hope now is they're giving him his party bag. Oh, dear. Oh, my. It's going to an exclusive 24/7 security monitored facility. Can anyone else hardly hear me? Because my sound is in the red on my side. How's my sound? Sound check, mic check, everybody. Yeah. I'm surprised. I'm surprised the verdict was that quick. Guilty on all counts. Very interesting. I had no idea how it would turn out because I was a little worried about the state's case. I was a little worried. Yeah, and the detective. The lead detective on this case, sir, oh my word, like there was an email thread and I didn't know that in there was a link for me to get all the surveillance until it was too late and it was all overwritten. What? Wow. Okay. Sound is good. All right. So turn up your sound if you can't hear me. Somebody, whoever said it. Maybe it was low compared to the courtroom because I boosted that right up. You know what I mean? Wow. Okay. Who's ready for sentencing? Lisa Loves Germs said all you had to do was keep it covered or get a vasectomy. I mean, or just walk away because Jade had said, I'm fine without you. She was ready to raise her daughter without him, preparing for everything herself, getting a 2-bedroom apartment herself. She didn't need him. So, I wonder what the jury will say if they do interviews and things, right? So one says, I'm not. Susan in SoCal says, I'm not in Switzerland, but my computer's been doing really weird things this morning. Is that so? Sorry to hear that. I'm glad you're here, though. You guys are ready for sentencing? Okay. Dear Liesel said, no more friends with benefits for Blaise boy. I mean, yeah, he really, no more dating for him. Well, he might make some friends in prison. But no more playing the field for him. Damn, from NFL scout to convicted killer. Marentje Greef said, thank you to Mr. Grizzly. For what? What did he do? What did he do now? I will show him that later. Thank you so much, Marentje, unless he's watching. I know he likes to watch verdicts. I know you watch. Okay, sorry. He doesn't watch true crime, but when it comes to verdicts, he's like, ooh. Then he watches. Ether Bunny said, you are always on top of everything. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. It's because of you guys. You keep me super informed. My inbox is always flooded. Thank you so much. Okay, so Pam Zamo said, I want to see him in cuffs. Justice for Jade and Ivy. I'm just at this point, until they come back, just going to read your comments. So if you have, I don't know, comments, questions, share your thoughts, your feelings. Did you think this would be the outcome? Didn't you? Do you think it's fair or not? Do you think there will be appeals or not? What do you think? I don't know what other questions to ask. What else? What else? Do you think the judge was too rude at times or not? I mean, he snarked both sides. I just keep saying that because I know he's very, very snarky and quite impatient, but he did it both sides, you know what I mean? Okay. Betty, how do I say your surname? Betty Duguid said she had strong support from her bestie. Yeah, and I mean, she was really fine without him. So that I don't know right now. Kelly Carmen said, what are the sentencing guidelines since he was found guilty of second-degree murder? I mean, even just for what he was charged with initially, the 2 counts of first degree and 2 counts of felony murder, if convicted, would be life with the possibility of parole after serving 51 years or LWOP. And that depends on the judge. I think the judge is going to LWOP this guy. Do you think the judge is going to LWOP this guy, which means life without the possibility of parole? Right? Italiana said, yes, he'll have appeals. I mean, there's automatic appeals. This we know, there's automatic appeals, but will any of them be valid? Diane said he will appear. He will appear because he's a narcissist. What does that mean? Appeal, you mean appeal. I think the appeal process is he will do it anyway, right? Tina said, loved this judge, haha. Gail, South Australia said judge was no nonsense. Okay. What? Keep you on your toes. Let's see if I can fix my little coffee link quickly. It's not working. Otherwise, I'll just remove it. What is it doing? YouTube is always so naughty, hey? Is it working yet? Yes. Fixed. Okay, wait. I'll go back there. Okay. No low battery here. I don't think that was for low battery though. It's not me, hey. This is not my, we're just looking at the Law and Crime and Court TV screens here. The camera person is checking it out. Now, if anyone's just joining now, go back, and then we'll type in chat when they're back for sentencing, right? They're on a 15-minute recess. Okay, let's read what you guys are saying. Margaret Bobe said, I think he's going to get life in prison with no parole. I think so. I think this judge, he's going to LWOP him. And then the judge is looking forward to a fantastic weekend, because it's 4th of July weekend, right? Blessed by Hess. Do I say it like that? You said, oh, is that how I said? You said, I'm shocked it was that fast. Me too. I was really worried it's going to be a hung jury, because I'm like, how will they get 12 people to agree on this? Especially even just based on our polls, you know what I mean? It was like all over the place. A lot of opinions all over the place, right? Yes, Patricia, there's a verdict. We watched it twice. Go back. Fox Super One said he'll get 25 to life, I bet. Well, I think the minimum, well, then he's been found guilty of second-degree murder for Jade's murder and guilty of first degree for the baby, and then guilty on the 2 counts of felony murder. So, we shall see, right? I mean, if he had given Jade a drink with liquid you-know-what in, but not to that amount. If it was an amount that would have caused the baby to die, wouldn't he still be in big trouble? You know what I mean? Wouldn't he still be legally accountable for murdering the baby? Huh? Like, what was he thinking? If that was his thought, why would he think he'd get away with that? So even 9 years before, when he asked Xavier what he could put in another girlfriend's drink to make that girlfriend have an abortion without her knowledge, you're telling me in 9 years his thought process didn't change and that this is what he went with, and did he not think that that has consequences? That's my question. SJLD Film said, thank you, G. Thanks for being a member for 7 months. Alex North said, I made the live finally on time. Thank you for covering this trial justice for Jade and Ivy. Thank you so much for your support. Amanda Rella said he got the verdict he deserves. Okay. My Present Delight said the jury saw through the defense attempt at confusion. Yeah, and I think their experts made it even worse, hey? They're experts. I think the defense has 10 witnesses. Don't you think it made it worse for them? Anita Gendler said, great job, G. I got up to day 4, but I wanted to be here with you and the Grizzlies. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks for being a member for 38 months. Danielle H. is busy dancing. Abraham Ore said he probably thought it would be left off as a miscarriage, but I don't think it would have, hey? Especially because I don't think Jade would have left it there, which is why one could speculate he did intend to kill both. But I do also think there's a possibility that you guys in chat were saying it's about a teaspoon, 1 to 2 teaspoons of the substance mixed into a drink. He could be, I don't know how else to word it, but say, he could be dumb enough to think, well, it's just a teaspoon or 2. Or did he Google it? We'll never know. Because unfortunately, he got arrested a year later, and all the devices connected to his iCloud account, yeah, no, they couldn't find any of those devices, which the state should have highlighted too, right? To say, where are all these devices? People might argue, well, everybody gets new phones and things, yeah, but where are they? Garnet Gale said, got at least 3 girls pregnant and couldn't figure out how to keep that from happening. I mean, there might be more, you're right. There might be more that we don't know about. Oh my goodness. Thanks for your support. Arcadia said, I did not get notified at all. Are you on Patreon though? Because I notified everybody over there as well. You can join for free, hey? Okay. Sir. Now wait, what time do they go? Let's go back like this. They said 15 minutes, huh? Yep, they've already been out for 22 minutes. Old Soul Joan said jurors had time to fester on the evidence before voting on the verdict. They decompressed and came to the results. Not surprised with the results. Let me quickly text Mr. Grizzly and ask if he can bring me some water. Please. Yeah, okay, that's it. Let's see if he reads his message. Water. I'm so thirsty now. My goodness. Stefan said, thanks, law enforcement, for waiting for a year. Yeah. And not checking the surveillance cameras. That would have been so great. This case could have been much stronger, hey? But yeah, circumstantial cases are often very much strong enough. This one, I'll admit, I wasn't sure of. I wasn't sure of the outcome here. And Anna Yancy, thank you so much for the $4.99 sticker. Lily said, just imagine if there are more who come forward. Oh my. And we know that this fancy truffle oil boy is going to have fans in prison, hey? He's going to have, I think, ladies contacting him, He's fairly pretty. Okay, let's see what you guys say. Spy Crime said, so 9 years ago he was thinking about poisoning somebody, but it never occurred to him to protect himself. Well, yeah. At that point, he wanted to put the morning after pill in someone's drink. Patricia says, who is Miss Q? That's the defense attorney, Miss Quinones. All right, Judge. I know you want...
Yes.
I was just saying, the defendant is out. That matter.
Okay. Well, yeah, you can bring him up.
The judge said that he has ruled on, or been the judge on, right? Over 600 jury trials.
What is it?
Your Honor, on the notice that the state filed to seek imprisonment for life without the possibility of parole, based upon the jury's verdict in count 1, the state would move to basically strike our number 3 and what would be in the code section number 16, because that requires an intentional.
As to
The
the,
murder was committed against a pregnant woman.
Right.
And the defendant intentionally killed the victim. The jury's verdict of a knowing killing, I think, removes that as an aggravated
from what would be, if it had been instructed at all, in count 3. Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, so that wouldn't be, all right, now, any submission, Mr. Brand, Ms. Harris, on the mitigating circumstances?
Yes, Your Honor. As far as mitigating circumstances, and I've discussed this with Mr. Moore, we would submit that mitigating circumstances in section J1, that the defendant had no significant criminal history, would be appropriate in this case. My understanding is there's no objection to that.
Okay,
That's correct, Your Honor.
And then, I apologize, I don't know which number this is, but the catch-all provision that any
number
other,
10,
yes, number 10, any other circumstance essentially fairly raised by the proof in this case.
does the state care to be heard on that?
Judge, submit under the law that has to be specific as to what that is, like a list of that the defendant graduated top of his class
And we,
those sorts of things.
Sure,
Not
and
just a catch-all.
right, and so to specify, we would intend to put on proof related to Mr. Taylor's education, his high performance in school, his high performance in athletics.
You would?
We are going to.
Okay.
Yes, we are going to put on that proof today at today's
Okay.
hearing. His involvement in nonprofits, so community involvement, other essentially.
He's a very good boy, okay? He's educated, he's very fancy, he likes truffle oil on his salad, he's done charity work. Okay, good luck, defense.
Positive personal traits and background related to Mr. Taylor that would support mitigation.
Okay. All right, I guess we can discuss the language of the court would place in there once we hear the proof.
So
Anything,
they're doing that to try to motivate a life with the possibility of parole, which rarely happens with charges like that. Yeah, Stefan's like, community involvement, you mean the female community?
anything else before the jury's brought down?
No, Your Honor.
Give opening statements
A
and,
brief, yes, Your Honor.
okay.
And we would as well, if the state
Okay.
wants to.
And does the state, just again for court's edification, know how many witnesses you may be calling?
3.
All right, let the jury step down.
So the jury, is the jury going to deliberate again on the sentencing? Is that what I'm understanding? I think so, but it's not a death penalty case, so this is interesting.
But
What?
General Moore, the states, are you in agreement that the jury would be instructed in terms, well, I can ask this later. It dealt with victim impact statement not being an aggravated circumstance.
Certainly.
Yeah.
And the jury can only consider that after they have found the existence of at least one aggravating circumstance.
And just before we get into an issue, the victim impact statements are not going to include any statement of what they want to
No,
happen.
no, we've discussed that.
Okay.
This is so unusual for a case that's not a death penalty case. I know this process in a death penalty case. I don't know it for this. Okay, Tennessee. The Tennessee is going to ask this jury to decide what he should be sentenced to. Wow.
Or you can have a seat. All right, members of the jury, when we get to this portion of this particular trial, the law allows for the attorneys to give to you opening statements, then present proof, and I'll explain all this in the jury instructions. The parties are allowed to introduce appropriate, relevant proof to the issues for your determination in terms of the penalty that the state's seeking of life without parole, or whether it should be a life sentence imposed on the counts 2, 3, and 4 that you've rendered the verdict on. Right. Does the state care to make an opening statement?
Yes, Your Honor. Just briefly. Members of the jury, because of your verdict, we are now going into the second phase of this trial. And what the state will present is based upon, like it seems long ago that I read the indictment. In this part of the proceeding, the state relies upon aggravating circumstances that are named. And there are 2 of those presented for your consideration. Number 1, the murder was committed against a person less than 12 years of age, and the defendant was 18 years of age or older. So they refer to Ivy. Number 2, the murder was knowingly committed, solicited, directed, or aided by the defendant while the defendant had a substantial role in committing or attempting to commit, or was fleeing after having a substantial role in committing or attempting to commit any first-degree murder. Again, based upon your verdict. The existence of those circumstances have been found beyond a reasonable doubt by your verdict. That allows, at this point in the proceedings, for the state to present what under the law is called victim impact testimony, to give you a view into what Jade and Ivy's death, the effect it has had upon her family, her extended family, and not going into really anything else. It's limited to that. Victim impact. And we'll be calling 3 witnesses. Jade's aunt, Brandi Moran, and who would have been Ivy's great aunt, Andrea Browning, who you have heard before, and Jade's mother and Ivy's grandmother, Briget Burks. At the conclusion of that testimony, and whatever the defendant chooses to present anything, this is what this is proceeding, that is submitted to your discretion. The judge will tell you the law, and once we conclude the proof, there'll be opening argument of the state. Perhaps the defense would have a chance, or they will have a chance to make an argument, and the state would close. Again, because we have the burden of proof for that criminal trial. But that is the process, and that is what you will hear in this part of the proceedings, to allow you to, in your discretion, determine what the punishment should be for the 3 first-degree murder cases. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, any opening statement?
Thank you. This case is and always has been tragic. Nothing that anybody's going to say in this relatively short portion of the trial is going to change that. And the thing we are going to ask you to remember is, even if you find there's aggravating circumstances, and really the aggravating circumstances the state is going to ask you to find are based on your conviction. Mr. Taylor's been convicted, there's no question. It doesn't require you to give him the harshest penalty ever. He's going to prison no matter what. The best outcome today is the rest of his life in prison, 60 years in prison, with maybe in 51 years, he goes up for parole. He's 30 years now. At 80, he goes up for parole. That's the best outcome today. You don't have to give him life without the possibility of parole. You can give him the opportunity to try for rehabilitation. You can give him the opportunity to work hard in prison. He's not going anywhere. This is a tragic case, but it doesn't have to be the worst of the worst outcome. Thank you.
But it can and probably will because of his pattern of
Right, here's the state wanting to
getting women pregnant and telling them they must get abortions, and if they don't want to, then saying, what can I put in a drink without a knowledge, and then actually doing that, right? So I think that they're going to LWOP this guy. What do you think? I've asked you on a poll, what do you think the sentence should be, in your opinion? So far, 88% said life without parole, and 12% said life with parole. Okay, let's go.
call.
Your Honor, the state's first witness would be Ms. Brandi Moran, and as part of the proof in this portion of the proceedings, the state would ask the jury to incorporate all of the proof that has been presented.
Okay, I mean, the law allows that. All right, let her step in.
I just can't believe how fast this is all going. I can barely type fast enough and do everything. I'm like trying to get the timestamps. What is happening? Like, oh my word, we went from like, all right, see you soon for hopefully the verdict. 2.5 hours later, verdict, guilty on all counts. All right. And then immediately it's like, immediately we're into the sentencing hearing, you guys. What? Sir, we're still trying to process. No, let's go. Victim impact statement for the state. Here we go.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, so help you God? Yes.
Ma'am, could you please state your name and spell your first and last name for the court reporter?
Brandi Moran, BRANDI MORAN.
You heard me say a few minutes ago that you were Jade's aunt and would have been Ivy's great aunt. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And just so we're clear about the relationship, explain the family dynamics to us.
Well, she was my niece, but I was there with my sister the day she was born. I was in the delivery room when she was born, and for lack of not having children of my own for many years, she was like a daughter to me. My sister and I are very close, and so she was more than just a niece to me, and the same with my husband.
And just to be totally clear, who is your sister?
My sister is Briget Burks.
And so you have known or knew Jade from the moment she was born. Is that
The first
correct?
breath she took, I saw.
And throughout her life, did you remain in her life?
She, like I said, was like another child, or like my only child for a long time. In fact, she was 13 when I finally had my child, and she was less than thrilled that I was bringing someone into the world to take her place, which he never did. But we took her, my husband and I took her to Disney World for the first time. I took her on her first trip to New York. She loved to travel. She was full of adventure. We traveled Europe together. We were in each other's lives when she went to culinary school. She lived with my husband and I. So we were very, very close.
And where were you when you learned about the February 25th, 2023 incident?
I was at my home in Northwest Arkansas, and I was actually folding laundry. My sister called and said something's happened with Jade. I don't know what's going on, but we're heading to Nashville. And I immediately we talked for a little bit. She was in the car, And in the meantime, my husband was in the background. Northwest Arkansas doesn't have a ton of direct flights, and it's a good 10 or 11 hours from here. So he was getting flights for me, the earliest that we could get in Kansas City. And we actually drove all night so I could catch a first 6 a.m. flight out of Kansas City to get to the hospital.
Did you know?
A picture of Jade with her mom and aunt. Thank you to Grizzly Cat for sending me that. Sorry to pause here. I just cannot miss this one. Oh my word, West Texas gal. You sent a $200 sticker? What? You said never miss a trial with you, Lady G. Thank you so much. Oh my word. Thank you very much for that.
Before arriving at the hospital that Jade was expecting?
Oh, yes. I learned that Jade was expecting on November 9th, 2022, because it was my son's 10th birthday. And she had actually traveled to Arizona. I was in Scottsdale for work, and my work was wrapping up, and I was flying out my son, and Jade flew out, and my best friend, so we could celebrate my son's 10th birthday together. And so she arrived at the hotel, and I was extremely excited that my event was over with, and was ready to, relax, and, wanted to have a cocktail with her, and she kept refusing. And so she finally had to tell me without everybody being there, but she had gotten me a little bag that said only the greatest aunts become great aunts, and it had a picture of the ultrasound inside. So from then on, if you look at our text, every single communication after that was about this baby.
And so would it be fair to say you were looking forward to being a great aunt?
Oh, yes. I had already asked off work I didn't have to ask off work, I work remotely. I'd already informed my boss that from middle of June through when my son had to go back to school, I would be working remote in Nashville, helping her learn how to become a mom.
The jury has heard that she was removed from life support, she and Ivy, on her birthday. Is that correct?
That's correct.
What was that like for you, yourself, going through that time?
It was probably, I thought, when my mother passed away a few years prior to that, that was the hardest thing I was ever going to go through. But nothing prepares you for what you see as your family's future going away. And although she wasn't physically my daughter, it was like losing a child. And not in a way that was fair, and especially at a time when my very last text to her was, "I'll see you on your birthday to celebrate." And that's what I was expecting that weekend before. I didn't expect to be driving to Nashville to experience what we experienced.
From the moment you heard, got to Nashville, saw what was happening, has there been a day that's gone by that you haven't had this on your mind?
No, it's completely changed. We have a small family to begin with, and it's taken away I won't say it's taken away happiness, and I've done a lot with therapy and grief, and it's never going to go away. But there's never going to be pure joy in the celebrations that we have, because there's always going to be one of the big pieces of our joy missing. So there's...
And with respect to the family, your sister, Browning, people we have heard from, have you seen how this has affected them?
Oh, it's everything. It's how we operate in life now. It's even how I allow my son to do things, because we are a normal family. This isn't anything you ever think you're going to talk about. When I say we were boring people, and we liked it that way, and just, you can't let go of the fact that this type of thing now, really happens to other people. It happens to you too, and it can happen to you. And so it impacts every decision, every thought. There's just across the board with my sister, with, our father, with my husband. My son was 10 at the time, and just trying to explain to him why somebody that was, just like a sibling to him is no longer here.
I was going to ask about that, because Jade and your son would be cousins.
They were cousins, but they were
closer than that.
They fought like brothers and sisters, and she was 13 when he was born, and then she turned into his babysitter, and then, she hit adulthood, and he had a little bit of a problem with her being an adult and not just his cousin Jade. So they fought like brothers and sisters, and there's just, it's really hard for me, like I said, because we have a small family, and my husband and I had our son late in life, and we don't have a lot of other relatives, and she was his only cousin, and he's not going to have her now later in life the way I've had my sister. Like, I relied on, and she watched out for him. She could put him in his place like no other, and just, it kills me that I know that he's not going to have that anymore.
And have you seen that actually affect your son?
Oh, definitely. I mean, our entire family has gone through therapy. He had a lot of problems right when everything happened in school, just with behaviors. And I mean, it's impacted every single day since it happened.
Prior to this, was your sister family unit happy?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, we were, my husband and her husband are good friends. She and I are best friends, and like his children, like we all were just beyond just a happy, like I said, happy but boring, normal family. And there's just, I think somebody mentioned Jade's light, and that light's gone, and there's a dimness over our entire family that I don't ever see us getting back.
Can you describe, put in words, what you have seen this do to your sister, to Jade's mother, Ivy's grandmother?
It's just destroyed her. When she talked about Jade being her life, she was her life. They talked every day. And aside from the fear and the hurt I know she has, I've lived with the fear of, like, is she going to be able to get mad at us? And thinking about my sister not being here because she can't live without her daughter has been probably one of the hardest things that I've sat and just prayed and hoped that she is strong enough and will be strong enough, because I can't imagine. I can't look at my own child every Mother's Day and feel guilty that he's still here, and my sister doesn't have her little girl anymore.
Thank you, Ms. Moran. No further questions.
Hang on just a moment. Question?
No question.
All right, thank you. You can have a seat. Who's the next?
Damn, imagine if the defense gets to cross-examine these witnesses for the state's sentencing case now. That's where we're at.
Do it.
That would be horrible.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, so help you God? Yes, I do. Ms. Browning, could you please state and spell your name for the record?
Yes, it's Andrea Browning, Anderea, Browning.
Ms. Browning, what was your relationship to Jade?
She was my bonus daughter.
When did you and Jade's dad get married?
2009.
When did you first meet Jade?
She was about 7 years old, which is how old my daughter is now, our other daughter, Ava.
And can you walk us through Jade's early life?
Yeah, she was a little spitfire. The first time I met her, I'll never forget, because the light everybody keeps talking about, it's so obvious. And I was just, this girl was so full of life and so full of confidence. She always had a smile on her face, and she was always ready for anything. And she adored her dad and her family. And she just, you could see it all over her face, and her whole body lit up.
And Miss Browning, do you have another daughter?
Yeah, Ava.
How old is Ava?
Ava's 7 now. She was 3 at the time.
And can you describe Ava and Jade's relationship?
Yeah, that's tough because, like I said, Ava has Down syndrome, and so she's developmentally delayed, and she didn't know Jade because Jade was in Arkansas when Ava was born, and it was also during COVID, and we were taking lots of precautions about who we were exposing her to. And she finally met Jade in, I believe it was 2021, and they looked into each other's eyes and knew that they were sisters. There was a connection immediately. Like, it was really eerie, but also amazing at the same time. But having her here was so great for Ava because she got to know her last year. And also the toughest part about it was that. That's it. That's all Ava gets of her, was just that 1 year when she was 3 years old.
And what impact have you seen on Ava's life since losing Jade?
It's tough to tell her because she doesn't understand a whole lot about it, especially because she was so young at the time. But she's really into pictures, and she's always pointing Sissy out in pictures. And she asks about Sissy. She uses an AAC for communication. She just randomly hits Sissy on her words all the time. And it's got a little picture of Jade. And Sissy's always with you, is all we can tell her, and just keep explaining to her how great and wonderful her sister is and how much she loved her. And, one of the toughest things I'll have to carry with that is that the Instagram post that Jade made that said, being in Nashville, one of the best things about being in Nashville is getting to watch my sister grow. And they will know her.
And can you tell us about finding out Jade was pregnant and how excited the family was?
They were so excited. I was initially shocked, and she could see that, and I think it was a short conversation, but we were automatically super supportive of her and super ready to do anything and everything, take her shopping, help her with decorating, help her with anything she needed help with. I mean, I had just become a mom myself not that long ago. We talked a lot just about, whatever you need, we've got you. And she didn't ask for much. She had a whole bunch. She knew she could do it. She's got all the confidence in the world.
And the jury has heard a lot about Jade's support system and how many people showed up to Vanderbilt and how many people took action that night. Can you describe for the jury Jade's support system, how many people she has here today, and what it's done to her friends?
I can't even begin to describe it because, like I said, she had only been here a year, and she was surrounded by people that were local, like at the end. I mean, obviously everyone from Arkansas came down, but the amount of people that came there that were not from Arkansas, that were there because she made an immediate impact on them, and they loved her so much, and they knew that this was going to be a huge loss to everybody.
And can you walk us through that night of February 25th and how you found out and how Jade's dad found out?
Yeah, I was actually asleep. I had a young child at the time. I had put her down a couple hours before, and I knew she was going to be up early, so I was sound asleep. And once I woke up, saw the missed calls, and I was in such shock. I honestly don't remember a lot of like who called when, where, how, and I know Briget had several missed calls from her as well as Dennis, and as soon as I talked to Dennis and got to Vanderbilt somehow on my own, that drive was awful. I could barely even operate my legs because I knew there shouldn't be anything wrong with her.
And Jade was working at your brother's restaurant back in early 2023.
Right.
Can you describe the impact that her and Ivy's death has had on your brother's staff, your brother, just the restaurant as a whole?
Yeah. It was devastating. It's been really hard to watch my brother because he hired her. I mean, he didn't even hire her. He recommended her to the head chef, and it was a no-brainer for her to hire Jade. You know, he just got her the interview. Like, but everyone at that restaurant, like, and that's the biggest thing is like, they knew Jade was not doing anything she shouldn't be doing. And they were like, always telling me that.
Yeah,
How great she was taking care of
Maybe
all
a
the
jury
things.
approach, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh my, we've got a sidebar going on. Or even a little, we live. We can't really, wait one
Ms. Browning is
Big eye.
Jade's dad, Dennis Browning.
Yes.
And can you walk us through the impact that Jade and Ivy's death has had on you and Dennis?
It's just been devastating, just knowing that Jade is only sister, and we know that she was always going to be around for her when we weren't, and it's ripped us apart. It's brought us closer together, but it's changed everything. We are very much more protective of Baby now, having experienced what we experienced, and I know that it's just changed everything forever for us.
Those are all my questions.
Any questions?
No question.
Thank you.
Thank goodness.
All right, who's the next witness?
I'll say thank goodness, because imagine the defense, oh my word, imagine the defense grilling the witnesses as they're being questioned by the state, which is a form of victim impact statements, not the usual format we've seen before, right? This is our 28th trial together.
Ms. Briget Burks. You swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, so help you God. Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
Briget Burks, BRIDGET, BENNING,
Ms. Burks, who was Jade Benning to you?
my baby girl.
And was Jade your only child?
Yes.
How can you describe Jade growing up and her light?
As soon as she walked in the room, you knew, because she was so full of life. She's known for being very loud. Got in trouble several times for being loud. So you knew her presence, her laugh.
And Ms. Burks, does Jade have a stepfather?
She does.
Okay, and what's his name?
When Burks.
And when did Lynn Burks come into Jade's life?
She was 6.
And Can you walk us through the impact that Jade's passing and Ivy's passing has had on you and Lynn?
We also have 2 boys, and so it just makes it harder, makes us worry more about our other 2 boys. That was his baby girl. You couldn't tell him any different. And it's just a void that will always be there.
Is your day-to-day life different without Jade?
Most of the time. People ask, are you okay? And I always say yes. But behind closed doors, I'm not.
And did you and Jade talk almost, if not every single day?
Yes.
And Ivy would have been your first grandchild.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through the impact of losing Ivy?
Well, I'm the youngest of all my friends, and I'm the only one that didn't have a grandchild. So I was excited to be able to say I'm a grandma now. I'll never get that opportunity because it was taken from me.
And is there a day that goes by that you don't think about Jade and Ivy?
No, every day.
These are all my questions.
Or any questions?
No question.
Thank you. You have a seat. Any other witnesses from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any proof on behalf of Mr. Taylor?
Yes, Your Honor. Very, very briefly, I would actually call Detective Adam Reese, who I believe is in the court.
Okay.
Oh my word. You're gonna call the lead detective, okay, for your sentencing hearing arguments. Oh, rub his nose in it. Okay, I'll allow it. It's like, how is this questioning gonna go? Okay, Detective Reese.
testimony about to give the truth, so help you out.
Yes.
Detective Reese, as part of your investigation in this case, did you pull criminal history reports on Mr. Blaise Taylor?
Yes.
Do those include NCIC sort of nationwide background checks?
Yes.
In your investigation of criminal history on Mr. Taylor, did you find any prior criminal history?
No, I did not.
Thank you, that's it.
Any question?
No.
Okay.
Am I supposed to snark or like hold myself back? Sorry, you didn't even find the surveillance footage, okay? Sorry. Okay, no prior criminal history, okay. I'm glad the defense is keeping it short though.
All right, who's the next witness?
Your Honor, we would call Evie Taylor.
Okay.
Do you swear that the testimony about to give to be the truth, so help you God?
That's his mother. Is it? Is it his mother? Oh my word. Yep, that's his mother. Here we go. Buckle up, everybody.
It's Dr. Taylor, right?
Yes.
Dr. Taylor, can you please state your full name and spell it for me?
It's Evelyn Taylor, Evelyn Taylor.
And Dr. Taylor, what is your relationship to Blaise Taylor?
He's my son,
And how many children do you have, Dr. Taylor?
2.
And is Blaise your older child or younger child?
He's my oldest.
And how old are your two children?
30 and 28.
So Mr. Taylor is how old?
He's 30.
Where do you live, Dr. Taylor?
I live in Texas.
Can you tell us a little bit about who Blaise Taylor is?
Yes. He's the best son I could ever ask for. He's a loving son, a loving brother, a loving grandson, a loving nephew, a loving friend. He's never given me any problems. All throughout school, he was an A student. He was always the teacher's pet. In fact, his kindergarten teacher still keeps up with them to this day. He liked to help other children with their schoolwork because it just naturally came so quick to him. And the teachers would always comment about that. He loves sports. He wanted to follow in his father's footsteps, and so he played sports. Every time we moved, he made a lot of friends. He was team captain and leadership. He was a team leader. A lot of the parents would come to me and tell me that how much respect they had for him. He was a good student in the classroom and in sports, and he was the type of boy that they wanted their children to hang around because he was never getting in any kind of trouble and was very respectful.
Where did this? I'm gonna interject for a minute. Where did Mr. Taylor grow up?
We lived all over. He was born in Texas, but because of my husband's profession, we move every few years. So we lived in Texas. From there, we went to New Mexico, and then Louisiana, and then Tennessee, then Oklahoma, and then Alabama, and then Arkansas.
And is it fair to say sports are kind of a big deal for your family?
Yes.
So you mentioned he was very involved in sports. What sports specifically was Mr. Taylor involved in?
Well, his favorite sport was football.
And that's real big in your family.
Yes.
Right? When did he start playing football?
When he was 5 years old.
And how long did he play?
He played through college, and then he got an invite to try out for the New Orleans Saints upon graduation or after his senior year.
And he ended up not pursuing it professionally?
He didn't make the team, the Saints.
How did he, let's start with high school. How did he perform in football in high school?
He was a team captain in high school, one of the leaders on the team. He actually graduated early. He graduated a semester early so he can go to college early.
And you mentioned a little bit about his grades while he was team captain and playing football. How were his grades in high school?
All A's.
And then where did he end up going to college?
He went to Arkansas State University.
And I think we heard a little bit about that during the trial. Did he play football in college also?
Yes, he played football in college, and he actually graduated with his bachelor's and his master's degree in business in 2.5 years. He was the first college football player to ever do that. And while he was there, he started a nonprofit, the Power 102. He's very passionate about helping children in underserved areas and communities. And so while in college, him and his sister co-founded that nonprofit. And they just did a lot of community events for those children, mentored them. He was a big brother. He volunteered at the alternative school. And his senior year, I think he went like 3 times a week.
Does that nonprofit still exist?
The nonprofit still exists. They've actually given almost like over $90,000 in scholarships. They help each year. They do school supply drives for kids in underserved areas. They do Thanksgiving baskets and adopt a kid for Christmas for children that don't have resources to get presents for Christmas. Pretty much whatever the needs are wherever we live in the community. They just try to serve those children and just meet.
Oh my word, that's a lot of words there for how absolutely brilliant and beautiful Blaise Taylor is. You know the picture that Jade last took on her phone of the defendant with her. That picture, you know that hoodie? That's from this charity that his mom is now referencing. That I think he and a sibling started, something like that. Hold on, I'm trying to find the damn picture. Where is it? You know which one I'm talking about, right? Yeah, no, where is it in my little collection here? I can't see it. But anyway, I'll find it for you. Hold on.
And you said Mr. Taylor's sister was involved in that as well?
Yes. So if you talk to his sister Star, she'll say that he's her role model. She followed behind in his footsteps, and she's an A student as well. And if you ask her why does she make A's, she'll say because Blaise did. Why do you play basketball? Because Blaise did. From the time she was little, he would help her put her shoes on the right feet. When I was her coach, she would be looking at him. And even though he was only in junior high, she valued his opinion and wanted to hear what he was saying, what she can do better, how she can improve. Whether it was in the classroom, whether it was with sports, whether it was trivia things or whatever, whenever she needed advice, she would say that she would go to her brother.
And is Blaise's sister here? Has she been here?
She is. She has been.
Is your family close?
We're a very close-knit family. We move a lot. We know we have each other, and then every time we move, we make several moves, but we always find like adopted families wherever we are. Usually it's through sports. The kids on their sports teams, and then they become a part of our family.
So this picture was the last picture that Jade took on her phone before she called Najaya, right? And that hoodie, some of you pointed out, that's a little sinister. That's a bit odd. But the power of two, and then also says one, is the charity that he has linked on his Instagram account still now, that he and his sister apparently started. So that's what his mother's referencing there. I'm just showing you, because I don't think we discussed the hoodie update since I learned about it.
I know that this process has been very hard. Does Mr. Taylor have support still from your family?
Oh yes, he has support from our family. We have family members here. It's just hard because we're not from Tennessee. And we've had lots of different moves, so people that we're close to are in various states across the U.S.
So when Mr. Taylor started working for the Titans, which we heard a bit about, he was in Tennessee and you were still in Texas?
No, we were in North Carolina at that time.
You were in North Carolina. Did you have an opportunity, did you keep up with sort of how he was doing at work?
In work, yes. We talk regularly, and football's a big part of our family. That's what his dad does, so we have lots of conversations about work.
What's your impression of Blaise's work ethic?
Oh, he has a really good work ethic. If you ask anybody that knows him, that's one of the characteristics they'll say. He's a hard worker. He's always on time. He'll be one of the first ones there. He's going to make sure that he gets the job done. He has a really good work ethic in everything he does, whether it was his schoolwork, an actual job where he's getting paid, whether it's been on service, he always goes above and beyond.
Okay. How about, are there any other, we talked a little bit about the nonprofit, are there any other kinds of community involvement or examples that you can think about from Blaise's life, either recently or longer ago, that you can tell the jury about?
Well, he has a servant's heart, so he does a lot of community service. Usually wherever we live, like with his dad, the football teams usually do community service, so he can be involved in various things that they do. I know one thing, like when he was in high school, where he was actually old enough to make a decision to do those things, he was really involved with the Miracle League. And so that's something he did throughout high school, with big brother type programs, mentoring younger children, he would do that. And then when he was in college, he just did a lot of community service, like I was telling you about, like for his nonprofit, but it was primarily through being a big brother and volunteering at the alternative school. So being a mentor, he had a little brother that was assigned to him, and he would bring him to football practice and let him watch. He would go to school and help him with his homework and do things of that nature. And then when he volunteered, I believe it was the 3rd grade classroom at the alternative school, he would just encourage them to do their schoolwork, to respect their teacher, And if they made their points for the week, he would come and he'd bring teammates, and then they would play dodgeball and things like that. And if they had a good week and a good report, he would let them come with him to, or he'd get tickets for them to come to a football game. And he was really involved with the community baskets, and we would do community Thanksgiving dinners. I think one of the things that I'm most proud of Blaise for was one time when he was in college, we were in church, and they were doing baptisms. And I didn't know this because, he didn't tell me this. I'm just watching the baptism, and all the people come up and give testimonies, and it was a young college girl. And she said, I just want to thank Blaise because he really shared about the Lord to me. And he was really instrumental in my relationship with the Lord and my baptism. And all the accolades that he had, like in the classroom or on the field, they were nothing compared to what I feel like he did for this young lady that said that she was a friend that just went to the university. And just the fact that he was instrumental in her being baptized, it's those types of things that make me really proud of Blaise.
Dr. Taylor, one Thank you, Dr. Taylor. I think that's all. Well, let me ask this. Is there anything else you think you want to share with the jury that I haven't asked you about?
You're all right with objection being that open-ended.
Okay.
And that's all I
Okay.
have.
All right. Any questions from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Oh my.
That is the defense's proof there.
Okay.
Okay, that was pretty quick. Are they gonna?
All right.
The jurors are gonna go deliberate again. Should we just? How long do you think they're gonna take? Should we stick around? Should we do another stream? What should we do? I'm just the pace that this courtroom has been going. I'm just like whoa, whoa. Normally I'm one to speed things up, as you guys know. I watch everything, 1.25, 1.5 speed. I'm like whoa, whoa. I just want to pump the brakes on this courtroom. What is happening? This is so fast. Okay, we are racing to sentencing. Okay, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you'll step down the hallway just briefly, we'll talk with the attorneys about legal issues and then get you right back.
Okay. Jane Weir said, does she think she's at a teacher's parent conference and you got a bad report card? Ooh, it felt like that a little bit.
You can have a seat. And just for the record, Mr. Bland, like we did the other phase of the trial, let Mr. Taylor step around and deal with his decision not to testify.
Oh my. Okay, here we go again. Round 2, everybody.
If you raise your right hand and be sworn.
Do you swear to tell the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Taylor, you understand that at the sentencing phase of the trial, you have an absolute right to make a statement to the jury.
I do.
You also don't have to say anything. You have the absolute right to remain silent.
I do.
And we have discussed that option and the pros and cons, and whether you want to make a statement at this point in time.
Yes.
And based on those discussions, you made the decision that you're not going to make a statement or otherwise testify.
Yes.
And that's your own decision.
Yes. All right, he can have a seat. And then, Mr. Brand, in terms of the mitigating circumstances that I'd instruct the jury would be the defendant has no significant history of prior criminal activity. Set out the other mitigating factor raised by the evidence consisting of, and what do you contemplate the court instructing the jury there?
I forgot. I think the judge said there's going to be closing arguments again on each side about the sentencing. And then the jury will go deliberate the sentencing and then come back to decide, is it going to be life with or without parole? I don't think that'll take too long, right? I don't think so. If the verdict took 2.5 hours, oh my word.
Trying to think of how to phrase this, Your Honor.
Right. I mean, excellent student.
I might. What if we said, community involvement, prior acts of service, support system, and educational and personal achievements? That maybe in the ballpark?
Or community involvement, education, and personal achievement, and what was the other?
Acts of service.
Active service?
Acts of service.
Acts. Does the state care to be heard on that?
No, Your Honor, I think they come under the catch-all.
Okay, and I was planning on setting forth that catch-all about any other mitigating, but then consisting of and then listing.
Yes, Your Honor, I think that would be appropriate under the case law.
And then charge as to in terms of aggravating circumstances in counts 2, the murder was committed against a person less than 12 and the defendant was 18 years of age or older, and the murder was knowingly committed, solicited during the commission of the language there about another first-degree murder.
Yes, sir.
Accurate. And in 3 would just be that felony murder type language.
Yes, sir.
And 4 would be both again.
Yes, sir.
Well, both
Yes,
again. All right, anything further from the state in terms of jury instruction?
Not without having seen that.
Do you want 10 minutes before we come back with the closing argument? And I can give you the draft.
Just want to make sure that I don't say anything that's not going to be in the charge.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would appreciate seeing the jury instructions, but we don't need much time.
Okay, all right, good report. Just 6 minutes.
6 minutes. Okay. Eloise said he's not getting an award. Maybe his mom thinks he's going to get a certificate. LWOP, life without parole. Ooh. Community service will be done from behind bars. He sounds like he'll be very helpful there. Can mentor and coach and excel there. Oh dear. We said 6 minutes and we were 4 minutes behind because of chipping in, you know what I mean? So 2 minutes to go and they're back. And then, whoa, Tennessee really doesn't mess around. Hey, Tennessee is like, right, let's get to it. We'll get into sentencing right away. I forgot why I like Tennessee so much. Damn. The judges, they don't play around. They say it as it is. I love the accents. And then it's like, ooh, we've got to... I think we saw this actually with the Jason Chen trial. Didn't that also go straight to sentencing? I think so. I think that did. I don't think Megan Boswell's one did. That we watched separately and a while later, right? Sarah Ritchie said, I bet the appeals fly in this one. Unfortunately, he'll never admit his guilt. Damn, look at all the eye rolls. Thank you so much for your sticker. Potter said, a little silver cup. Will he get a little silver cup with his matching silver bracelets and new shoesies? Okay. Sure. Zaza Sky said he could get a trial completion certificate. I mean, he was there. He was there behaving. At least, I don't know, after Corey Richards, I quite appreciate that he was just sitting there doing not much, eh? Corey was insufferable. Oh my word, Corey Richards, just shut up, Corey. Back your teeth away. And then the Tanner Horner trial was what we watched last, right before this. That was so traumatizing. Oh my word. If you don't know what a trial completion certificate is, I make those for every trial we watch together. So I'm going to make the 28th one once this trial is completed. And I always post those on Patreon. So you can check them out over there. There's a whole collection. Kay Watermelon said, I bet he's going to make a statement. Do you guys think he's going to make a statement? I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, he just said he wouldn't testify, right? Again. But I can't imagine it. I think his mom did the talking for him, you know what I mean? Tracy's like, Tennessee, right? Okay, Good Trouble said, how long did it take for them to reach a verdict? 2.5 hours. So I think at that time when I ended the poll, 36% had voted between 1 and 3 hours. You were right. Damn. Lala Sal said, gee, on this trial certificate, we need the judge's comment. Who are you? That moment. Oh man, with the Dr. Larkin, the voir dire. If you guys missed it, it was on day 6. At the end of day 6. That Dr. Larkin that didn't even write her own notes. And then she said, it's not a report, it's just notes. Some woman stood up and said, I wrote the notes. And the judge is like, who are you? Yeah, sit down. Take a seat. That was so good. Oh, man. Okay, did I miss something? Did I miss a sticker? Janice Green, thank you so much for the $50 sticker. You said, thanks, Gisela, for all of your hard work. Thank you so much. Sure. Okay, here they come. Closing arguments. Jury goes to deliberate. They should be back in 5 minutes. And LWOP. Okay, sorry. I think they're going to vote for life without parole, huh? If they've convicted him on all counts, yeah, I think they're going with LWOP. What do you think? Mamushka said there were a few spicy moments in this one. There were, right? Thank you for helping out the mods, Mamushka. This trial, no disrespect to the case or the victim. This trial was very entertaining, hey? Sure, we just we didn't know what to expect on any given day. Let's see. How do we say add? Eyes said, hey, gee, I was worried. I was hoping for this guilty verdict. LWOP, I'm in Tennessee and worked in the jail with Megan Boswell. So I love when you say everybody stand. If somebody knows Kyle the bailiff, please tell him we say hi. He's a bailiff in Tennessee. We love Kyle. He's famous over here. He's a Grizzly. Sir, you can't undo it. You're an honorary Grizzly around here. I love Kyle. He was like, everybody stand, please, just with such authority. Every time. That was the Jason Chen trial, or was it Megan Boswell? Why do I get confused every time? Damn it. It's always between those two trials. Which one was it? Remind me, everyone. I just remember Kyle. Oh, man. Kay Watermelon said, that is true about keeping his mouth shut for appeal, but most of them speak right before they get sentenced. Ugh. It's horrible, hey? I still also think one of the worst was Corey freaking Richards. Corey Richards, just shut up. That little monologue that she had there, it was terrible. So manipulative. Cruel to her boys. Man. Tracy's reminding everyone, I timestamp everything for easy viewing. Yes, I do. So if you're like, where was the verdict and where did you watch it again? And it's on the stream, right? That's all timestamped. And everything else is timestamped too. And classic moments like the one I just referenced with the judge saying, take a seat, take a seat. That I make into YouTube shorts for you. So, do you remember, did you watch the one, you guys? Let's see if I can download it here quickly. Wait, it's this one. When the prosecutor went off. Is it this one? Where's the sound? Hello? Sound?
Okay, have a seat.
Yeah.
That
heard
Excuse
three
me.
experts
You don't need to raise your voice.
testify.
Okay, have a seat.
Oh my word. Okay. Damn, I wasn't ready for that. You go, Prosecutor Jan Norman. Wow. Did you guys? It really did take me by surprise, that one. Let me show you another one. Oh, wait. Stop it.
Why are you standing up?
Because.
Just have a seat.
Okay.
Oh my.
So
Just have a seat.
I don't have any
You
reference
see
to any
the
work
last
orders
two
in there.
sentences in your report?
What is going on here? The judge, why are you standing up? Just have a seat. I said, when do you think the witness made a report? She didn't at all. So that was another one of those, and I've got one more for you. Which is this one, I think is this one. I can't even remember what this is.
You're going to argue to this jury that the fetus may have lived if it had a C-section.
I don't know what the evidence is going to come out to be.
I'm talking about, that's your purpose for asking that.
That was the purpose for me asking the question.
Oh my.
Sometimes I give advice to lawyers, but I'm not here in this case.
I love that. Oh my word, this judge. Sometimes I give advice to lawyers, but I won't in this case. Oh. Oh goodness. Okay, let's just see that the sound is back here. Okay. So if there's any moments that you want me to clip, just make sure you put the timestamps in the comments. The format for a timestamp would be, let's say if it's at 1 hour, 23 minutes and 40 seconds. 01:23:40. Then it will appear in blue in the comments so that I could just click on it, go to that moment and, clip it for us. Martha Chapman said, I'm reading Baby Boy as one of those perfect promise ring types. He was put on a pedestal by family and community, so couldn't be honest with any of his imperfections. I mean, either that or he had a lot. I'm not trying to blame the parents. I just feel like there was an undercurrent to him. There's the perfect Blaise just impressing his parents and winning all the awards, and then there's the outlet, which wasn't pretty. Wendy Joan 55, thank you so much for your $20 sticker. I really appreciate your support, everyone. Oh my word, thank you so much. Beth Reed said, proud to be a Tennessean. Rest in peace, Jade and Ivy. Yeah, justice was served. Barbara Jean said, did you make a short of him? Which one? Of him who? The defendant doing what? He didn't do much. Oh, you mean when he was doing the Maggie mouth, huh? Not maggot mouth, the Maggie mouth. Also, I think I have new powers, you guys. Because throughout this trial, I joked, and I'm now scared to joke about it. 3 times I joked about a power outage when the defense's cross-examinations got pretty painful and long. And so then yesterday, I literally had a power outage. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it what happened. I'm like, that's never happened. What? Everything. Just power outage, violent thunderstorm. It was fixed and all that. Here we are today. Point is, right before the verdict was reached, I said in chat, should I open a Red Bull and take off my lipstick, to conjure up a verdict? And I walked my ass to the bathroom and I just started wiping off my lipstick thinking, it's probably going to be tomorrow. It's not going to be a verdict today. It might even be a hung jury. And I had my phone with me, obviously monitoring the feed at all times. And the next minute I saw the courtroom. I saw the judge and I'm like, what is happening? Why, judge? And he's like, well, we've reached here the jury. I'm like, the jury, judge. Now put the lipstick back on. Judge, stop it. I didn't even get to open the Red Bull yet. That was scary. Thank you so much for your sticker. Sure, okay. So we're waiting for the arguments for the closing arguments for the sentencing, right? So this guy says, witchy Lady G. I have powers I never knew I had. Whatever shall I do with them? Someone said in the comments, just say like, imagine if we all won the lottery in all our respective countries. Okay, that would probably not be good. How many of us are here? We have to split it amongst all of us. Damn it. So, yeah, Copper said G conjured up a power outage and a verdict. My goodness. The other way I like to conjure up a verdict is to tell Grizzly Cat to go take a nap. So that she'll miss it. That usually conjures up a verdict. It has a few trials already. When she asked me, is there anything happening? Nothing at all. You go sleep. I'll let you know. She goes to nap. The verdict comes in. I did both of those things today. So thank you so much. All right. Ooh, here's the judge. Okay. Time flies, hey? JM Tube said life without parole is safer than condoms. Oh my. Thank you for your sticker. I also asked...
Jury instruction.
Okay, wait. I also asked on the poll, what do you think the sentence should be? 85% said life without parole, and 15% said life with parole, just so you know.
No, Your Honor.
Let's see.
Mr. Brown, okay. All right, let the jury step down.
Everybody in the jury, everybody stand, please. Kyle, please. I hope Kyle emails one day. I'm waiting for your email, Kyle. That gal Rebecca said, I don't think any of us were expecting things would move this quickly. I was waiting to pencil in the sentencing date on my calendar. I know, right? But here we are. The judge is so ready for his 4th of July weekend.
All right, you have a seat. All right, any closing argument on behalf of the state?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Members of the jury, we're down to just about the last decision you'll have to make. And that is, what is the appropriate punishment in this case? I want to start out by saying that, yes, the judge will tell you that a life sentence in the state of Tennessee today is 51 years before parole eligibility. That's a long time. It's a really long time. But, contrary to what Mr. Brand said about life without parole being the harshest penalty, the harshest penalty wasn't asked for, the death penalty. So, there are 3 punishments for first-degree murder in the state of Tennessee. One wasn't on the table. Life without parole is the next step down. And life imprisonment is the minimum sentence for first-degree murder. The state submits that while there might not be a quantitative difference, who knows how long someone is going to live, but there is a qualitative difference. That is, what does the crimes that you have found Mr. Taylor guilty of, what do they deserve? And you can consider, I submit by your verdict, where you mentioned this, you found the aggravating circumstances by your verdict beyond a reasonable doubt. That then allows you, and Judge Dozier will read the instructions, not nearly as long as the first one, that upon that finding, you can consider victim impact testimony. What this man's actions have done to the people who loved Jade Benning and would have loved Ivy and did while she was in the womb. She never got a chance. She never got a chance to know how much she was loved. Mr. Taylor, the judge will tell you, consider mitigating. Yeah. Before this, he had no criminal record. That doesn't mean he is not deserving of life without parole under the facts of this case. And again, going back to everything that you heard during the trial. Apple Denny. Apparently, Mr. Taylor was fine with helping out other people's children. He was a good student. No doubt about that. Very smart man, comes from a very well-educated family. A good athlete. Community service. Now, like I said, good to other people's children. Not his own. That qualitative difference is that life without parole, the state submits to you, is the appropriate punishment. And you'll really have to decide that and come to on each count. But it is your decision, your collective judgment. There's no, oh, we have to prove this, we have to prove that. Once the existence of an aggravating circumstance is before you, and here we have to, then it is your call. And one of the things, victim impact, and you've got, certainly, his parents didn't raise him to be like this. But the decisions that he has made were his and his alone. His family choose to do so. Visit him. So long as he are alive. Talk, communicate, whatever. Because there's a saying, where there's life, there's hope. He's going to be alive. He's going to have hope. He's going to have that sense of living and associating and being, granted, not an environment that any of us would want, but it's of his own choosing, his own making. Jade and Ivy's family never have that opportunity. He took that from them 3.5 years ago. February 25th, 2023. He took something that no one is able to give back. And for that, on behalf of the state of Tennessee, submit that whatever hope of freedom that he should have, he does not deserve, and that he should not receive the minimum punishment for these offenses. Thank you very much.
Any argument on behalf of Mr. Taylor?
Thank you.
Life imprisonment is an appropriate punishment for Mr. Taylor. And punishment is what it is. It is not a minimum get off easy. kind of sentence. It is life in prison. 51 calendar years at best. That's if you make parole at 80, if he's 30 right now. Yes, in opening I said it's the harshest you have is life without the possibility of parole, and there is death penalty, but this isn't a death penalty case. We knew that at the beginning. It's the harshest option you are considering today. And life imprisonment is incredibly harsh. Living in a concrete box for the next 51 years, that is punishment. He's not getting off. He's not getting off easy. You're not letting him go. He's not walking out of this courtroom. Likely for the rest of his life. Now, looking at the jury verdict, it occurs to me that maybe there is some consideration from the jury that you all think Mr. Taylor intended to kill baby Ivy and maybe didn't have the intent to kill Jade. But he knew he was killing her, or some version of that. Obviously, I'm not in the jury room. I don't know if that matters in your deliberation for this part of it. But if we're talking about what are the worst of the worst of the worst crimes that you get the worst of the worst of the worst punishments, this was a long, incredibly detailed, complicated trial. And you guys heard a lot. You can consider all that when you're making your determinations. The reason that we put on some proof about who is Blaise, what was his family like, what's his upbringing like, what's his community involvement like, is there's kind of a, I don't know if it's a saying, it's something that's talked about in work when you defend someone sitting at that table, that we are more than the worst thing we've ever done. We're people. Blaise is a person. He's got a family. He had a great childhood. He did well in school. He was an all-star athlete. Yeah, he did something horrific. Nothing that can happen here is ever going to change that. Nothing. And he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison no matter what. So you all can go home and rest assured that no matter what you do here today, he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. It doesn't require life without the possibility of parole to send that message, to send that punishment. It's not either we let him off easy or we have to punish him the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst. He's being punished. He's getting the message. But he is not someone who has spent his entire life as a criminal. He is someone who's had a good life, who's done good things. I don't have anything to say about it. Did something terrible. There's, let's call it what it is. When you hear the jury instructions, there's going to be a lot of talk about aggravating and mitigating factors. And I said this in my opening, and I'll say it again. If you find aggravating factors, you don't have to find that he gets life without the possibility of parole. It's just something you can consider. Life imprisonment is punishment. It's life in a box. It's life in a prison. It is a message. It is a lot. It is enough. And we would ask you to return for your sentencing that be the appropriate sentence in this case.
I'm just showing you some other pictures of him while we're at it. Look at him here. He's like, He looks very, very cheeky here. Right? We've only really seen him. We've seen his mugshot. We've seen him in the courtroom. So some of these, maybe you haven't seen before, right? Look at this one. Look at this one, especially this one. Dude. Oh my. Okay. That's a snarky side eye you got there. It's how he's gonna, his expression in prison, probably. Someone, thank you for buying the Mods 5 coffees.
All right, any rebuttal from
Just
this?
very, very briefly, it's time to have this jury determine, does he deserve the minimum allowable Or does this crime, these crimes, Mr. Brand argues this is not the worst of the worst. What could be worse than killing your own child and your own child's mother? That is my life without parole. Is an option in this case, and is an option the state of Tennessee would respectfully request you consider and return. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Time for some more jury instructions, and then they're going to go deliberate again on the sentence. Okay?
Members of the jury, you've now found the defendant Blaise Taylor guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of murder in the first degree as charged in counts 2, 3, and 4 of the indictment number 2024A490. It is now your duty to determine within the limits prescribed by law the penalty which shall be imposed as punishment for this offense. Tennessee law provides that a person convicted of a murder in the first degree shall be punished by imprisonment for life without possibility of parole or by imprisonment for life. A defendant who receives a sentence of imprisonment for life shall not be eligible for release until the defendant has served at least 51 full calendar years of such sentence. A defendant who receives a sentence of imprisonment for life without parole shall never be eligible for release. In arriving at this determination, you are authorized to weigh and consider any of the statutory aggravated circumstances proved beyond a reasonable doubt and any mitigating circumstances which may have been raised by the evidence throughout the entire course of this trial, including the guilt-finding phase or sentencing phase or both. The jury is the sole judge of the facts and of the law as it applies to the facts in this case. In arriving at your verdict, you are to consider the law in connection with the facts, but the court is the proper source from which you are to get the law. In other words, you are the judges of the law as well as the facts under the direction of the court. The burden of proof is upon the state to prove any statutory aggravating circumstance or circumstances beyond a reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt is that doubt created by an investigation of all the proof in the case and an inability after such investigation to let the mind rest easily as to the certainty of your verdict. Absolute certainty is not demanded by the law, but moral certainty is required, and this certainty is required as to every element of proof necessary to constitute the verdict. The law makes you, the jury, the sole and exclusive judges of the credibility of the witnesses and the weight to be given the evidence. The prosecution has introduced what is known as victim impact evidence. This evidence has been introduced to show the financial, emotional, psychological, or physical effects of the victim's death on the members of the victim's immediate family. You may consider this evidence in determining an appropriate punishment. However, your consideration must be limited to a rational inquiry into the culpability of the defendant, not an emotional response to the evidence. Victim impact evidence is not the same as an aggravated circumstance. Proof of an adverse impact on the victim's family is not proof of an aggravating circumstance. Introduction of this victim impact evidence in no way relieves the state of its burden to prove beyond a reasonable doubt at least one aggravating circumstance which has been alleged. You may consider this victim impact evidence in determining the appropriateness of the sentence only if you first find the existence of one or more aggravated circumstances as has been proven beyond a reasonable doubt by evidence independent from the victim impact evidence. Count 2, statutory aggravating circumstances. Tennessee law provides that no sentence of imprisonment for life without possibility of parole shall be imposed by a jury but upon a unanimous finding that the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of one or more of the statutory aggravating circumstances, which shall be limited to the following. 1, the murder was committed against a person less than 12 years of age and the defendant was 18 years of age or older. And 2, the murder was knowingly committed, solicited, directed, or aided by the defendant while the defendant had a substantial role in committing or attempting to commit or was fleeing after having a substantial role in committing or attempted to commit any first-degree murder. Knowingly means that a person acts knowingly with respect to the conduct or circumstances surrounding the conduct when the person is aware of the nature of the conduct or that the circumstances exist. A person acts knowingly with respect to a result of the person's conduct when the person is aware that the conduct is reasonably certain to cause the result. The requirement of knowingly is also established if it is shown that the defendant acted intentionally. Intentionally means that a person acts intentionally with respect to the nature of the conduct or to the result of the conduct when it is the person's conscious objective or desire to engage in the conduct or cause the result. Members of the jury, the court has read to you the aggravating circumstances which the law requires you to consider if you find proved beyond a reasonable doubt. You shall not consider any other facts or circumstances as an aggravating circumstance in deciding whether imprisonment for life without possibility of parole would be appropriate punishment in this case. Mitigating circumstances. Tennessee law provides that in arriving at the punishment, the jury shall consider, as previously indicated, any mitigating circumstances raised by the evidence, which shall include but are not limited to the following. The defendant has no significant history of prior criminal activity, and 2, any other mitigating factor which is raised by the evidence produced by either the prosecution or defense at either the guilt or sentencing hearing. That is, you shall consider any aspect of the defendant's character, any aspect of the circumstances of the offense favorable to the defendant, which is supported by the evidence, consisting of A, community involvement, B, education and personal achievements, and C, acts of service. The defendant does not have the burden of proving a mitigating circumstance. There is no requirement of jury unanimity as to any particular mitigating circumstance, or that you agree on the same mitigating circumstance. Count 3, the felony murder involving Jade Benning, statutory aggravating circumstances. Tennessee law provides that no sentence of imprisonment for life without possibility of parole shall be imposed by a jury, but upon a unanimous finding that the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of one or more of the statutory aggravating circumstances, which shall be limited to the following. 1, the murder was knowingly committed, solicited, directed, or aided by the defendant while the defendant had a substantial role in committing or attempting to commit, or is fleeing after having a substantial role in committing or attempting to commit any first-degree murder. The definitions of knowingly, intentionally, which apply to this offense, have been previously explained to you in these instructions, and you should refer to those definitions as they apply to this offense. Members of the jury, the court has read to you the aggravating circumstances which the law requires you to consider if you find proved beyond a reasonable doubt. You shall not consider any other facts or circumstances as an aggravated circumstance in deciding whether imprisonment for life without possibility of parole would be an appropriate punishment in this case. Mitigating circumstances. Tennessee law provides that in arriving at the punishment, the jury shall consider, as previously indicated, any mitigating circumstances raised by the evidence, which shall include but are not limited to the following. 1, the defendant has no significant history of prior criminal activity, and 2, any other mitigating factor which is raised by the evidence produced by either the prosecution or defense at either the guilt or sentencing hearing. That is, you shall consider any aspects of the defendant's character or any aspect of the circumstances of the offense favorable to the defendant, which is supported by the evidence, consisting of A, community involvement, B, education and personal achievements, and C, acts of service. The defendant does not have the burden of proving a mitigating circumstance. There is no requirement of jury unanimity as to any particular mitigating circumstance, or that you agree on the same mitigating circumstance. Count 4, felony murder involving the victim, the unborn female child of Jade Benning, statutory aggravated circumstances. Tennessee law provides that no sentence of imprisonment for life without possibility of parole shall be imposed by a jury, but upon a unanimous finding that the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of one or more statutory aggravated circumstances which shall be limited to the following. 1, the murder was committed against a person less than 12 years of age and the defendant was 18 years of age or older. 2, the murder was knowingly committed, solicited, directed, or aided by the defendant while the defendant had a substantial role in committing or attempting to commit, or was fleeing after having a substantial role in committing or attempting to commit any first-degree murder. Definitions of knowingly and intentionally which apply to this offense have been previously explained to you in these instructions, and you should refer to those definitions as they apply to this offense. Members of the jury, the court has read to you aggravated circumstances which the law requires you to consider if you find proved beyond a reasonable doubt. You shall not consider any other facts or circumstances as an aggravated circumstance in deciding whether the imprisonment for life without possibility of parole would be appropriate punishment in this case. Mitigating circumstances. Tennessee law provides that in arriving at the punishment, the jury shall consider, as previously indicated, any mitigating circumstances raised by the evidence, which shall include but are not limited to the following. 1, the defendant has no significant history of prior criminal activity. 2, any other mitigating factor which is raised by the evidence produced by either the prosecution or defense at either the guilt or sentencing hearing. That is, you shall consider any aspect of the defendant's character or any aspect of the circumstances of the offense favorable to the defendant which is supported by the evidence, consisting of A, community involvement, B, education and personal achievements, and C, acts of service. The defendant does not have the burden of proving a mitigating circumstance. There is no requirement of jury unanimity as to any particular mitigating circumstance or that you agree on the same mitigating circumstance. The defendant has not taken the stand to testify as a witness during the sentencing hearing, but you should place no significance on this fact. The burden is on the state to prove any aggravated circumstance or circumstances beyond a reasonable doubt. He is not required to take the stand in his own behalf, and his election not to do so cannot be considered for any purpose against him, nor can any inference be drawn from such fact. You will be provided a verdict form consisting of 6 pages. You have 2 sentencing options to consider on each count, and you are not required to deliberate on these sentencing options in any particular order. The options are as follows. Verdict, life imprisonment or life imprisonment without possibility of parole. If you do not unanimously determine that a statutory aggravating circumstance has been proved by the state beyond a reasonable doubt, the sentence shall be life imprisonment. You will write your verdict upon the enclosed form attached hereto and made a part of this charge. The verdict shall be as follows. We, the jury, unanimously find that the punishment shall be life imprisonment. If you unanimously determine that a statutory aggravated circumstance or circumstances have been proved by the state beyond a reasonable doubt, you shall, in your considered discretion, sentence the defendant either to imprisonment for life without possibility of parole or to imprisonment for life. In choosing between the sentences of imprisonment for life without possibility of parole and imprisonment for life, you shall weigh and consider the statutory circumstances or circumstances proven by the state beyond a reasonable doubt, and any mitigating circumstance or circumstances. In your verdict, you shall reduce to writing the statutory aggravated circumstance or circumstances so found, and shall return your verdict upon the enclosed form attached hereto and made a part of this charge. The verdict should be as follows. We, the jury, unanimously find that the state has proven the following listed statutory aggravated circumstance or circumstances beyond a reasonable doubt. Here on the verdict form, you would list the statutory aggravated circumstance or circumstances found. You shall then indicate on the enclosed verdict form either we, the jury, unanimously agree that the defendant shall be sentenced to imprisonment for life without possibility of parole, or we, the jury, unanimously agree that the defendant shall be sentenced to imprisonment for life. The verdict must be unanimous and signed by each juror. The verdict must represent the considered judgment of each juror. In order to return a verdict, it is necessary that each juror agree thereto. Your verdict must be unanimous. It is your duty as jurors to consult with one another and to deliberate with a view to reaching an agreement if you can do so without violence to individual judgment. Each of you must decide the case for yourself, but do so only after an impartial consideration of the evidence with your fellow jurors. In the course of your deliberations, do not hesitate to re-examine your own views and change your opinion if convinced it is erroneous. But do not surrender your honest conviction as to the weight or effect of the evidence solely because of the opinion of your fellow jurors or for the mere purpose of returning a verdict. You can have no prejudice or sympathy or allow anything but the law and the evidence to have any influence upon your verdict. You must render your verdict with absolute fairness and impartiality as you think justice and truth dictate. You will be provided with a form for all possible sentences in this case. The jury will check the appropriate verdict on the form for each count and complete the form as directed, and each juror will sign the verdict form. The other forms are to be left incomplete and unsigned. Your foreperson will preside over your deliberations, and when you have reached a verdict as to the sentence, you will return to the courtroom and your foreperson will announce it. You must not imagine that the court has any opinion in regard to the facts. It is your duty to find them, and have attempted to read this charge to define to you the law without indicating any opinion about the facts whatsoever. Members of the jury, the charge in this case is herewith handed to you together with the verdict forms for the punishment for each count and the exhibits. You may now retire and consider your verdict. You can step down the hallway with the court.
Jurors are off to deliberate at 4:40 p.m. Tennessee time. We just always look the same thing.
Anything further from the state?
Judge, I know that need to be a hearing, sentencing hearing. If we had a date, we might also be looking at our
Yeah, in
calendars.
terms of merger and count one,
And
whatever happened.
yes, Your Honor, and
I think we can look at like the week of the August 3rd, like the 5th maybe, or somewhere around there. Discuss that.
yes, that's all.
Anything further on the jury charge, Mr. Brand?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, we'll need a recess.
Okay, the jurors are deliberating on the sentence.
Court to recess.
Okay. See if there's any hot mic moments.
Oh, yes, there's word, but you got that. And case law says, even when it's secondary merges, that the court should impose a fixed sentence. So we don't have.
We're listening in now.
I'm going to ask to go further than August 5th. I think I can't imagine.
There's, yes.
Let me write it up here. Started at 4:40 p.m. Nashville, Tennessee time.
Yeah, we just. Yeah.
Hot mics. 4:40 p.m. I think they'll be back by 5. What do you think?
Didn't get a confirmed date, so.
LWOP, right? That's what I think. I think it's going to get LWOP'd, definitely.
If we could do it in August, I think that would be our preference.
ES6, wait, We don't want to miss anything. ES5605 said, Gisela, I appreciate you covering these horrendous crimes and especially enjoying watching your expressions and reactions during important segments. I have an involuntary non-poker face. Thank you so much. There was another one I got earlier here. C squared as well. Where is your one? C squared, thank you for spoiling the mods with 10 Big Bear coffees and for the $50 sticker. Thank you so much. If you guys haven't noticed, I don't have ads on these long trial days. I never have ads, like mid-roll ads. I think there's 1 or 2 in the beginning, and that's it. Always. That's what I try to do. If you see ads all over the place, yes, you can just email me or put it in the comments, and then I go back in and turn them off again, as long as I have the control to do so. Maybe one day YouTube will take that away, because they're like continuously telling me, don't do that, just put it back on, put all the ads back on. I'm like, no, thank you. Why? Because of your support. So thank you so much for all the support, the stickers, coffees, PayPals, whatever. I really appreciate it. And why do I do that? Because I can't stand watching and seeing ads every 6 minutes. I hate that. I have YouTube Premium now, so I don't get ads, but I can't imagine that. Okay, so let's continue to listen to the hot mic, shall we?
If he gets a little bit themselves, they need like 50 days or more. They're like stacked.
That's kind of what we're thinking actually.
Yeah. It's like, and I was like, they just asked for 45 days, like 4 weeks ago. So now they need about like 30 days. Yeah. So I was
when they cuff him, oh my word, I feel like he's gonna pass out, right? What tea are we hearing? He's going to be sentenced. We're waiting for that. Okay, wait. Let me put that in here. Sentencing next. Now, while we don't know when they'll come back, I can only imagine they won't take very long, right? They took 2.5 hours for the verdict. So I think they'll be back. My vote would be 15 to 45 minutes. No, wait, my vote would be 5 to 15 minutes. Sorry, I corrected. I asked you on a poll, how long do you think the jury will deliberate on sentencing? 5 to 15 minutes. 32% of you say that. 15 to 45 minutes. 49% say that. 45 to 90 minutes. 14% say that. And 90 plus minutes, 5% say that. And while we could make a new stream for sentencing, we're not gonna. We're gonna stay here together, follow the timestamps. If you don't want to hear all this fluff in between, then just skip to the next timestamp. Not right now, if you're watching live with me, I mean replay watchers. You could skip to the next timestamp when sentencing starts, okay? Going forward now. We're live and it's a hot mic. Thank you, camera person. Are you a Grizzly camera person?
right.
Missy JF said, you could have a juror that agrees with the verdict but does not feel that he should get LWOP. There may be some arguments needed to persuade or come to a unanimous decision. That's okay, we'll be here. What a day. Tube said today was an epic day. Grizzlies? Yes. Trying to listen to the hot mic and talk to you guys at once. RLJ said his dad being a coach at Texas A&M, that's probably where he got the attorneys in Texas. And he was actually born in Texas. Waco, Texas. Did I say Waco right? Right? Southern California says LWOP goodie bag coming right up. Well, don't say that, then I'm going to want to be there. I'm such a sucker for goodie bags, oh my word. Any of these running races I do, if they say goodie bag, I'm in. I'll be there. What do we get? Oh my word. So LWOP goodie bag, no, not a goodie bag. Don't sign me up for that, okay? Oh, Judge, I'm expecting to see you back in a minute. It's already been 9 minutes. I mean, come on. Elise said, imagine being Blaise's sibling and the mom saying murderer Blaise was the best son she could ever ask for. But I think the sibling is a daughter, right? I think it's his sister. But you said, like, what the hell? Okay, but still, it'll be like, huh? And the sibling probably does everything right. But Blaise is a prince. He is untouchable. He is the angel of the household, no matter what is. I'm just speculating. That's what it feels like, right? Okay.
Please don't. Right.
Missy JF, stop it. You said Grizzly's gonna go and commit an LWOP crime just to get the goodie bag. Stop it.
Right. They'll be fine tomorrow. Yeah. I know I was ready to jump up. That was definitely a feeling. What?
I love that picture of Jade, hey? Judge. Are we ready? Come back in, Judge, come back in. Tell everybody to stand. Marie D. Ambrosio, thanks for becoming a member. Welcome to all the new members. We'll have a members-only live stream soon. Just make sure I didn't miss something. Okay. Do they have a verdict, do they? Who's laughing? M's Worm said the state had great witnesses, but based on specificity of verdict, I'd say Apple had the most impact. I think Apple I agree with that. What do you think? I think Apple and the phone call that Nigeria described, because she said that Jade was saying, "What did you put in my drink?" And that was before the toxicologist had determined that the substance was ingested in a drink. It's a bit awkward just staring at you guys here, but I want to hear the hot mic. I want to hear if they say something, hey? Heather Sparrow said, "Thank you, G. I've been watching since Gabby Petito." Thank you so much. Katie Marks, thank you for your $50 sticker.
Yes.
Are they back? Are they coming back? Trophy Wife said, "People are different with those they are in a sexual relationship with than their mom." And I said, I freaking hope so, right? But I know what you mean. Meaning the mom saying all those nice things, she didn't know what he's like with the woman, right? If I missed somebody's sticker, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to see if I missed any. Wendy, thank you so much. Sarah Ritchie said, "Don't focus on the fact he killed his child in the womb and a woman he took from her family and friends and her daughter. Focus on his past good deeds." That was during the defense's arguments, right? Aussie Surfer, thank you so much. Mary said, "Not only did he kill somebody else's beautiful daughter, he killed his own. Sad." Not that they proved that. I was really hoping that they would have done like a paternity test, but they didn't. Not that we know. I wouldn't hear any of that, right? Evergreen, thank you so much. Shelley in Canada said, "I have a Lighthouse badge, 3 great years. Thank you, Gizzard, Moz, and Grizzly Cat." Oh, thank you so much. Happy Grizzlyversary. I think I'm almost through the stickers. Let me see. Hope for Justice said, "Shame, too little, too late, Dr. Taylor. This is cringe listening to this." During the mom's testimony. KK on YouTube. "You back from the shower? Are we ready for verdict now?" You said, I'm in the best Grizzly den with all of you supporting justice for Jade and Ivy. Thanks, Chief, for all you do." Thank you so much. And Eloise, thanks for being a member for 9 months. Okay. Now let's go back to what you guys are saying.
I know, I'm sweating.
Yeah, what's the time? Now in Tennessee it is 4:55. They've been out for 15 minutes. Okay, so everybody, including myself, that said 5 to 15. I think we're wrong because it's going over now. Wu-Tang, Alex said, "What good deeds?" You know, all that charity work he was doing. Luna Kai said, "Boy moms or something else. The way his mom looked at him with pride and love after hearing how he treated women in his life and his unborn children." Oh my. And we can assume, I was going to say we can know, but let's assume they're going to appeal this hard, right? I hope they don't spend all their money on that, right? Okay, let's see. Eloise, thank you so much. Sharon Service said, "I thought I heard there were 2 other." There was Apple Denny, critical testimony, and Xavier. And he was still dating Xavier in 2023. That's the one he was texting the night before. So do you guys think that he moved the camera? And if so, when? I wonder at what point then, you know what I mean? Ooh, I hear doors going. Maggie, thank you for being a member for 35 months. SLD Film said, "It wasn't a children's charity, was it?" I think it was. Kerry said, Najaya saying, he said Jade was scaring him too, was telling SD why she would say that if not true. That points to him wanting Ivy dead and Jade died too. Could be. What are we saying? What's happening? Interesting. Susan Westerfield said, I think Blaise got the cocoa from Jade's contact. That's why the defense never subpoenaed him. I don't think they know where he got it from. Based on, they didn't find any of the devices, although they had that iCloud account, but none of the devices connected to the iCloud account. But they had lots of messages and calls on the iCloud account they were able to extract. So yeah, actually they should have had. Interesting. I don't know. I would, you know what I would think? He got it from somebody, NFL contact. I think he had his own contact, and I think the narrative of he doesn't drink or smoke or take drugs at all. I'm like, I don't believe that. I don't think I believe that. Do you? Lois Dimitri said, I think he moved the camera when she was on the bed dying. Camera was pointed out towards the street to allegedly capture the arrival of the ambulance. And you said, in my opinion, perhaps, question mark. You know what I think? It's what I speculated before. I think that while they were there at the table painting, he would have said to Jay, you know, this camera watching me the whole time, it just makes me uncomfortable. I just don't like it. Is there any way you could move it? Just move it to your room or something, or make it face elsewhere, just for now. That's what I think happened. No, it's too quiet in this courtroom now. Come back. Okay, we're live. We're still live. We're waiting for the sentencing, right? Sorry, I'm like also. This reminds me of when I started my channel. I was here. My channel's 5 years old now, you guys. To those of you who've been here from the start, oh my word, thank you so much. Obviously, to those of you who are here now, thank you so much. And to the mods, I think all of you were here pretty much from the start, hey? Yeah. Oh, but I was saying, I used to be small in the corner like this. When I started my channel, I spoke very softly like this. And I was in the corner. And I was a little shy to speculate, but never shy to snark. I was snarking right off the bat. Okay, so if you chose 15 to 30 minutes, you're wrong. Don't worry, so would I have been. That's what I would have chosen. Scott, 88, did you choose? You said you were wrong on all the polls so far. Me too. 5 to 15 minutes? No. 15 to 45. Will 50% of you be right? We shall see. How long has it been, you ask? It is 5:01 p.m. in Tennessee, and they started at 4:14 p.m., 21 minutes. Listen, jury, we need you to fill those forms in faster. Maybe they're going to take their time so they don't have to go home in the traffic? It's okay, you could just come out, let the judge sentence his ass, and then have some tea, leftover snacks, whatever, and then go. You won't be in the traffic, don't worry. Interesting. That's an interesting question. I don't think so. Karen, RNO to Karen. I don't know if I said that right. Or no to Karen. You said, can you have a hung jury on sentencing? I don't think so, right? Tracy says, little G. Do you remember, Tracy? I was here talking about Chris Watts like this. We were there on Watts Island. Southern Calibre says, what do we think the judge will say? Get him out of here. He's going to say, what you did in my 35 years, I don't know how long it's been, I'm sorry, 600 jury trials, is one of the most vile things I've ever considered in my life. Stand up. Get up. Oh, my word, standing up now. Now let me tell you good. You are being sentenced today. I think that's how the judge is going to life without the possibility of parole. You will never see the outside again. My Tennessee accent is good so far. And then maybe they'll say, cuff him. Someone will stand up. He'll be like, why are you standing? Take a seat, take a seat. And then he'll say, the court is in recess, and glide out as he has been doing. Just gliding out. Bye, Judge. Janine 1973 said Jade was such a beautiful, talented young woman. All credit to her mama bear. Kelly Corman said, I only found GTC during the Banfield trial, but I'm locked in now. Well, thank you so much. That's what counts, you know. I know it's really cool, the number, when people are like, oh, well, we're at so many subscribers, but it's not like we almost at 500,000, right? It's not like there's 500,000 people watching with us. People subscribe, and that's a cool number. But you know what really matters? You guys who are here, chatting, participating, leaving comments, liking, sharing. So thank you so much to all of you for being here. You're supporting the work that I do. Keep me going. And we'll watch many more trials together. Listen, jury, it's taking so long, I'm going to need a stretch break at this point. You know, people always ask this, which is very fair and valid, okay? While I'm still busy covering one trial, Royal with cheese is asking, what's the next trial, G? That's always the critical question. The answer is always, I don't know. Because I kind of take things day by day and week by week. You know why? Because I have experience in the genre now and things change. So, after the Tanner Horner trial, I very much planned to cover and was so excited to cover the Caleb Flynn trial. And guess what? Then they postponed that. Courtney Clenny postponed for the 100th time. Can we please get on with that trial? I think that one's now going to be in August. And summer months, like it is now, summer in the Northern Hemisphere, are not the busiest times for trials, just so you know. But there are trials like this one. So we'll see. We'll see. It's always we'll see. I'm still very spontaneous. And when I went on a recent vacation for the first time since I started my channel, actually for the first time in a long time, I did go to Iceland for 2 nights, one time, but that wasn't vacation exactly. It was a quick trip, and I got very sick. Anyway, because there was mushrooms in a noodle dish I had, and I'm very allergic to mushrooms, so my cheeks were like, whoa! My glands were working overtime, and I was just taking antihistamine. It wasn't that fun, hey? Anyway, when I went on the trip, I was so proud of myself for preparing a video for you for almost every single day. Because I'm not really a preparation type like that, like long in advance. Week by week. So we'll see. We'll see what trials are coming up next. Do you have any suggestions for something that's coming up soon? Next? What trial do you want me to cover next? Tell me. You tell me. Janine said the first trial I saw with you was the Sean Finnegan death penalty trial. That was intense, eh? And he was sentenced to death. Oh my word. Let's just make sure we live. Okay, we're live. What? Trying to decipher who this is. Who's that? Sorry. Is my brain getting tired? Who is that? Who do you want to see convicted there? Somebody's saying more for you. That won't be streamed. Roberto Alvarez said, LWOP took 2 lives. Buddha Alexander said, how long ago did you start this channel? End of June 2021. And I'm not a podcaster. Haunt Lover, welcome to membership. Tiff Knox said your storytelling of that bus ride was hilarious, the Iceland one. All of these story times, by the way, if you guys have become members today, or if you're on Patreon, that's where I tell the stories. And of all the members that I have and all the patrons, only 10% or so actually come to the members live stream or the patrons live stream. So, if you like stories, like we're sharing these breaks, come to those, which are also a little bit impromptu. Margot Pack said, I really appreciate all the long hours and hard work you do for us too. Thank you very much. Well, thank you so much. None of this would be possible without you guys. Britt Black said, the Sean Finnegan trial was nuts. I think the trial that I enjoyed most watching with you guys was Donna Adelson's. And that's ironic because I was absolutely dreading covering it. I'm like, I don't know, man. Donna Adelson, I don't want to cover this one, but I'm going to cover this one. I'm going to cover it. Yes, I'm interested in the case and all of that, but the reason I didn't want to is because I didn't cover all the others, and I don't like that. I like chronological order, deep dives, doing it all from start to finish, and I felt like I completely missed the bus. But I covered it anyway, and it was so good. Judge Everett, right? Oh, I think the judge also, definitely sets the tone for the trials, like Judge Doro. We've got some honorary Grizzly judges, right? Judge Everett. Mrs. Adelson, you must choose. Ultimately, you are no different from any other criminal defendant, and you must choose. She's like, I can't decide if she was going to testify. Oh man, that trial was very interesting. Yeah, Debbie. Miss Adelson, control yourself. That one had so many moments. Evie Bird, thank you for the Australian $2.99. What time is it by you? Oh, we didn't even know if you are West Coast, East Coast, Perth, Australia time. Let's see. 6 in the morning. Good morning. Let's see Brisbane. 8. Well, good morning to you. Judge, could you just crack your whip there? Tell this jury to hurry up. Lynn Viola Cat, thank you and welcome. Reese said Judge Doro was awesome. Oh, that bus. You forgot an H there, Southern Calibre. That bus, that was a different bus. That's not the Iceland bus. That was the Locarno bus. Rustic Dragonfly Design says Donna's trial was the first one I watched with Eugene, been here since. As you guys know, I love pens, right? You've all been asking me questions about these damn pens now. Favorite pens. And I like the 0.7 tip or the 0.5, and they're just called Energel, Pentel Energel. I think you can get them literally anywhere. Anyway, because I'm old school like that, I literally write down in my little notebook the trials that we've done. So hold on. My little notebook with the trials we've done, okay? The first trial that I ever covered was Letitia Starr, and that was done on Zoom, and I was super stressed about that. And we did not get defluff. That only came later. Then Leilani Simon, Brian Walsh. Yeah, I don't think these are in order. These are not in order. Brian Walsh was recent, so okay, they're not in order. Letitia Starr, Leilani Simon, Ryan Walsh, Tim Bleefnick, Megan Emirowitz, Adam Montgomery, who's going to get another trial. Even though the state is begging the Supreme Court, please don't let that happen. There's new documents, I'm just waiting to see what the response will be. And then, at some point, we did Burgos Aviles. That is when we started defluffing, you guys. As in starting late on purpose. To skip over lunch and coffee breaks, because that was the tardiest trial ever. Burgos Aviles. Jesse Kershevsky. True. Teresa Black. Daniel Howard, the guy who howls at the moon. Ashley Benefield. Donna Adelson. Sean Finnegan. Lori Shaver. Oh my word. If you guys have not seen the Lori Shaver trial, you must see her testify and lie. Wow. Tracy says, who has their trial completion certificates? I do make a certificate for each. There's a whole collection on Patreon. All right, so Donna Adelson, Sean Finnegan, Lori Shaver, Joseph Ferlasso. Do you remember that? The powdered donuts and the blanket. Chandler Holderson, Chazzy Boy, and we did that like 2 years later. It was over December in a very quiet time on YouTube. Remember that? Jason Chen, Megan Boswell, Craig Lewis. That was a shit show. Craig Lewis. Oh my. Nicole Rice. Another shit show. Maxwell Anderson. Megan Jackson. Blow Up Betty. Remember her? Noni Ann said, you did such a good job on the stuff. Does that mean it hooked me? Is that what that means? Thank you so much for your sticker. Woo, Megan Jackson. Nicholas Casodis. Enter Jim McIntyre. Matthew Paul. Brendan Banfield. He made some... Actually, which one's worse? Brendan Banfield or Corey Richards? Who made the worst pre-sentencing statements? I don't know. Those two are... Imagine those two meeting each other. Ooh. Corey Richards, Tanner Horner, and now Blaise Taylor. Yeah. And you know what really sucks about this trial? Is that I really like the name Blaise. I had my first dog as a child was Blaise, but that was not spelled the same way as his name. It's B-L-A-Z-E. A standard poodle. My parents had these like French poodles, and they had those ridiculous little haircuts, you know, with a little afro. And they were just groomed, and mine wasn't like that. Blaise was messy. Blaise was so cute, so I like the name Blaise. Damn it. I still like the name Blaise, and thankfully it's spelled differently. You guys are saying Corey was worse, huh? Do you think Corey's pre-sentencing state? I think it could have been. I think it was probably worse. But Brendan Banfield was right up there. It was so bad. Cian said, coin crapper, please. Oh, these terms we have. Queen Latina said, Mama Grizzly, I just want to say thank you so much for building this community. I absolutely love each and every one of y'all. Oh, thank you so much. When Mr. Grizzly was running the stream for me the other day when I had to go to archery, he just said, wow, like I'm so, afterwards, Shame, you're so sweet. He said, I'm so proud of you for this community you built. They are wonderful, wonderful people. That's what he said. That's what he said about you guys. And for him to say wonderful, wonderful people, that was good. Grizzly Cubby said, thank you G and the mods for another entertaining trial. I can't watch a live trial anywhere else. Oh, thank you for being a member for 2 years. Thank you so much. Okay. Shame. I'm gonna put Jade over here. So that I can put this over here and talk to you guys here. Okay. Also, in case you think I'm naughty, you know this frame? See, I put the frame over the law and crime. Not to try to hide where I'm getting the feed from. I get it from law and crime or put TV, okay? That's where it's from. It's the sword. I just do it so it doesn't look untidy. You know, like if I'm moving myself around, look here, look here. Look at that. That looks so messy. I don't like that. I don't like that. No, we don't like that. So just so you know. See what you guys are saying now. Monica said, oh, thanks, Mr. Grizzly. You did a great job. I have more archery lessons coming up sometime, and if we're covering a trial during that time, it's going to happen again. And he's excited about it. He's like, anytime, I'll just run this trial. Now, Kyle the bailiff. Do you guys remember? Was he the bailiff, Jason Chen trial, or Megan Boswell? Melissa Australia said completely got it right, this jury. Corey will go down as the worst ever, and Brennan, boy, a close second. Right, they were both so bad. Desert Dwellers Glisten Lowell said Corey, because it was all manufactured BS to manipulate Eric's sons. It was so bad. Brenda Banfield's pre-sentencing statements were laughable. I was like, is he really saying all that? Yes, yes he did. Jenny Lynn said he's going to watch sentencing with us, G. I don't think so, not right now, because it's 12:20 in the morning and he works a lot. So I think he's already fast asleep by now. Let's see the time. 5:18. It's been 38 minutes. Court Lucas said 100% of Kyle Boswell, I think. I also think so, right? Megan Boswell. Jason Chen was also in Tennessee. Remember with the prosecutor Cody Wong. Cody Wong was amazing.
I was just counting Sunday. It's dragging.
Lemon 57 said been watching since before Idaho, but became a member and Patreon during the Stout trial. Oh my word, he said, I love this community. Damn, thanks for being a member for 38 months. I always tell when I said, Mr. G, super lucky to have you 100% of the time. Does he though? Because I'm mostly with you guys. And then you have me 90% of the time. Kyle. Everybody staying, please. That's where it comes from. Okay, now I'm surprised by how long they're taking with this. I know it's 6 pages, but just tick the boxes, jury. Joanne, Lisa, New Zealand said, watching from New Zealand, thanks to you. So much for being a member for 15 months. Hyde says, jury having dinner. What a freaking on. Afterwards, pizza later. Not now. Says this guy said Cody Wong was incredible, so was Georgia, right? Fancy that. RN said nearly hooked with Corey's trial. Find myself laughing right out loud with G sometimes. Love you, Corey. Thank you so much. Okay, turn the court fee down. Not that much is happening. I could turn it right down. I was just trying to listen in, you know? But we'll see the judge when they, the judge just goes. The minute they're in, he'll be like, all right, the jurors have, oh, okay. And off we'll go. Next one we'll know he's already been sentenced to what? LWOP. I think it's going to be LWOP. What do you think? Baby Blue Eyes said, it's showtime, Grizzlies. Movement in the courtroom. Let's go, LWOP. I mean, they are all hanging out in the courtroom, right? So they also think it's going to be now. Grizzly Cubby, I just went over the list. Yes, what do you mean like a list for you? I have a list of trial certificates on Patreon, a whole collection. Thank you so much. And I also have playlists. I have a playlist for every single trial. So just go to my channel, which you're on right now, and go to the playlist section. You'll see them all there. Should I conjure up a verdict by getting up to go get some water? I think I'm going to do that. Okay, wait.
Yes.
Be right back. Getting more water. It's so damn thirsty. It's still quite hot. You said what? Sarah M. Thank you for the Big Bear coffees for the mods. Karen. Welcome. Okay, let me do this. Be right back.
Did you go to sleep?
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you get the book?
What time?
3:30.
I was up at 4:02. I said I was up at 4:02 and I thought that was
Yeah.
Okay. I'm back. Did I conjure up a verdict? Somebody said, Yanira said, she forgot to mention the Madeline Soto case. No, I didn't. You know why? Because I was mentioning trials. Firstly, I want to say, who is she, the cat's mother? Yes, she is. And all the kitties are outside my door. They're all like, what are you doing in there? As I open the door, they're all like, hey, what you doing in there? Madeline Soto's case did not have a trial because Stefan Briget Stearns got a plea deal and accepted it. I was listing not cases I've covered, then we'd be here for a long time. I was listing trials I've covered. Okay.
They work.
Sorry, listening in again. 25 past 5. 45 minutes is what it's been. Group 2, you're incorrect as well. On to group 3, who said? 21% said 45 to 90 minutes. I didn't expect this. This trial is very hard to predict what's going to happen. Listen to this trial. I'm predicting it all wrong. The heck is going on here? I thought they'll be back in like half an hour. 45 minutes have just passed. Oh no, West Texas gals are guessing silly women will write him love letters. I think so. He's got the look, hey. Oh no. Iowa travel nurse said, can't the judge decide consecutive versus concurrent? I do think so. No. I can't answer that. Jen said, how many cases have you covered? A lot. If you just look at my channel, I don't know how many videos I've made, but there's a lot of cases I've covered. We're waiting for the sentencing verdict, in case anyone's wondering. The verdict of guilt or innocence, the verdict has been reached on that. He was found guilty on all counts. Count 1, guilty of second-degree murder is what the jury decided. Count 2, guilty of first-degree murder. Count 3 and 4, 2 counts of guilty on felony murder charges. And so we've heard victim impact statements, we've heard the defense's arguments, the state's arguments, the recommendations for the sentence. The state wants life without parole. The defense wants life, which is 51 years before being eligible for parole. Doesn't mean you'll get it, but before being eligible. He'll be like 81 years old. He's 30 years old now, right? So what we're doing now is the jury's gone off to deliberate what sentence they'll recommend to the judge. Ultimately, it's up to the judge, but the judge would normally follow the jury's recommendation, right? The True Crime Barbie said, gee, you sent your heat wave to Chicago. It's miserable out. Glad I have you to keep me entertained on my way home from work. Well, I'm still kind of here a little bit. So where else can I send it? I don't want it anymore. Thank you so much for your sticker. Hello said, what happened to Xavier? I think it's Xavier, like Z-A-V-I-A. I think it's Xavier like that. I'm not sure though. But what happened to Xavier? I don't know. I don't know. We didn't see her testify. I thought maybe the defense would call her. Nope. Don't know. Apostle Mom said, I'm a newbie here. This is only my third full trial. Found your channel in the middle of Banfield trial while I was recovering from surgery. So happy I did. I'm so glad you did too.
I mean, he did. Right, because the mentally would not have been.
YT TV 2RX said Blaise has a 20% chance of successful appeal in Tennessee. That's true, that's a good idea. Christy Jenkins said, if you haven't, make sure you like the stream. Yes, please, give me a good report card. YouTube like rates your stream every time afterwards, like a report card, like, okay, maybe there was 7,000 people there, but only half or less liked it, so you suck. And I'm like, stop it, YouTube. I do not suck. YouTube's like, yeah, you do, you suck. People didn't like it. So please like it if you do like it, in fact. Don't forget to hit the like button. So it's been 50 minutes. Always got music I could play for you. I like just talking to you though. It's nice when I can just pay attention to the chat. That's one thing I really like about trials as well, is obviously we're watching the trial together, but I watch the chat a lot as it happens. Whereas when I'm doing individual live streams, I can't do the presentation, read the document, do everything, and read the chat at the same time. Because I'm not an octopus, sorry about that. I don't have I just can't have with the 8 arms and just eyes everywhere. I can't do it. So I like to see the chat and what you guys are saying. Right? Momac said, I'm shocked they are taking this long. Me too. What are they doing? 6 pages. Tick a box. Stick a box. Wait, I'm trying to remember the handle name. I can't remember, but somebody said, one of the Grizzlies said earlier, maybe this they're gonna not agree on. Which will be so weird, like, you agreed on guilty of 2nd-degree murder and 1st-degree and 2 counts of guilty within 2.5 hours? But you can't agree on this? Come on, man. Armchair Detective says, have you ever sat on a jury? G? No, we don't. We have bench trials in South Africa and Switzerland, so nope. And I mean, I'm not a citizen of Switzerland yet, so I wouldn't even be considered, not that there is. They have bench trials, so bench trials, no jury trial, never sat on a jury. Would America like to invite me? Guilty. I'll be the foreperson. Oh no, you know, said 2 hours 37 minutes for guilty. That was way faster than I thought, hey. Do you want me to like replay testimony, the 911 call, something? We could start something. We could start something so that, you know, it will make the verdict come in. But it is also a moment that you can ask me questions. So Eloise said, gee, how long have you been in Switzerland? Since February of 2024. Did I get that right? Yeah. 2 years and a bit. So this guy said, you would so be the foreperson, is it? Pick me. Now you all listen and you all listen good. We got 6 pages. Everybody grab a page. All right, start filling in the boxes, right? LWOP? Okay. at this point, after all this, all the guilty, 4 counts of guilty, damn. I hear doors, hold on. Someone take 5 minutes or something? Ooh, a flash of a first pass.
Let me see. We can do that.
People walking past. Let's just wait and see what's going on. Terry said your move during Anna Montgomery trial was hectic, yet no one knew until you said. I literally moved country with Mr. Grizzly and I, and at that point we had 2 cats. During the trial, we moved from the Netherlands to Switzerland. That was wild. Somewhere in all this mumbling I heard 5 minutes, did you? Okay, let's quickly see here. Now, where did they play that? Okay, wait. Okay. So, I can monitor this, which I will. I will check it out, okay? Put this back on. Okay. So we can listen to the 911 call again.
Get the name 911.
21. And is it based off of February?
Okay. Re-listening to the 911 call. I'm monitoring the live court feed. As soon as something happens, we'll switch over, right?
All right, again, ladies and gentlemen, the audio will be the both what you recall hearing.
Okay, here we go. For the 911 call, re-listening while we wait.
May I have the actual thumb drive? For some reason, this one is not playing.
There we go, wait.
21, 38, and 58 seconds.
911, what is the location of your emergency?
I'm not sure from Davidson. I'm at a friend's house and I think she's having an allergic reaction.
What's the address of Donald Sister so we can find her?
I don't know. It's an apartment complex.
Is there a mail with her?
With the account, I'm looking around. Just give me a second. I'm looking around. I don't know what's going on. I think she just give me 1 second.
Are you on Donald tonight or are you on Lebanon here?
Lebanon.
Okay, a friend's house. And, oh, she's having an allergic reaction. Damn, that was your first sentence? I know we know this, we're listening again, but like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, Lebanon. It's apartment 107.
Is it 1540 Lebanon Place?
I I don't know, it's not Burger King, I do know that. Let me look at, I'm going to the front of the building to get at the condo / apartment. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm smart. Okay, is there a backhoe in the corner there, sir? Is there a what? The backhoe in the corner? I'm not sure. Then I'm going to, Ontario, 1522-1515 Lebanon Pike, Ontario. 1522? Yes. Ontario, 1522-1550 Lebanon Pike. So the Ontario 1522, she's in among 107, and she's not been overdosed, is that correct? I don't know, I think she's on a reaction. We're getting cookies and training, and she said she wasn't feeling good, and I went back to the room to check on her. No, yeah, it was.
Oh, eating cookies and painting, and then she said she wasn't feeling good, you said. So you didn't tell them about anything about a drink, did you?
Yeah, what's the case we disconnected while you're up there? What's the callback number in case we disconnected? This number right here. Is it an 8 number 573-5738? Yes. Okay, how old is she? 23, 24. Okay, is she awake right now? Yes. Okay. And you think she's having an allergic reaction to food? I don't know, we couldn't even talk to her. I don't know what she's doing. If she did anything today or anything, but everything was fine, and then I don't know what's happening. She got spit coming out of her mouth and she's shaking. So you think it's possibly a reaction to not having food, is that correct? I think so, I don't know. I don't think she's allergic to anything, I don't know if she is or not. It could be a new allergic reaction. So are you next door? Next door, yes, sir? Yeah. Okay, does she appear to be breathing normally? Yeah. Okay, does she have any difficulty swallowing? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Okay. Is she coming from normal? Questions? Yeah, she's awake. Okay. So can you just gently roll her onto her side right now? Yeah, she's on her side. Okay. Yeah, because if she's having like vomit or anything else that's coming out right now, so you just keep her under her side right now, and you can feed her sleep, eat out only what you can see of her patient's bowel, okay? And you can wipe her mouth, okay? Hello, sir? Hello? Yes, I'm in the top. Oh, I'm in the top. Okay. Is she able to answer if she's having difficulty swallowing or feeling any swelling in her lips or throat or face, anything like that? No. Okay, she's one of our, I think one of our friends is on the way. Okay. I don't know what to do. No, is there anything else I should be doing? Okay, and then does she have an EpiPen? Do you have an EpiPen? Do you have an EpiPen? I don't think so. I don't think so. She's not responding. Okay, today, and one of the, so other than her just feeling kind of weak and passing out, does she have any other symptoms right now? No, she's pretty relaxed. She's laying on her side. Okay, does she appear to have any rash or eyes anywhere on her body that you can see? Not that I can see. I don't see anything on her legs or on her arms.
Okay, I think the court is now back. All right, so we're going to switch to that because we've heard the 911 call before. If you haven't, it's timestamped. It's on day 2, all right? Let's go. Judge, what are you doing here without us? How dare you? How very dare you? Let's quickly hear what he said here. Wait.
All right, the court staff's been made aware the jury's arrived at a decision in terms of the punishment phase, so we'll let them step down and announce it.
Excellent. So that was at 5:43.
And was there an agreed-on
No.
date on any sentencing issues?
I think the clerk was looking at possibly a date in September.
Want to do the 9th?
Oh my word, now they're actually going to set a date in September. Stop it. After all this, judge, just sentence him now. Sentence him right now.
Check that, let us know if it's not good.
After all that. We want him to be sentenced now.
All right, all right, juror number 7, you are still the foreperson?
Here we go.
And the jury's arrived at a verdict in terms of the sentencing issue?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, if you would, please, ma'am, stand and announce that verdict from the jury verdict form.
We, the jury, unanimously find that the state has proven the following listed statutory aggravating circumstance or circumstances beyond a reasonable doubt. 1, the murder was committed against a person less than 12 years of age and defendant was 18 or older. 2, the murder was knowingly committed, solicited, directed, or aided by defendant while defendant had a substantial role in committing first-degree murder. We, the jury, unanimously agree that the defendant shall be sentenced to imprisonment for life.
And that is
For
count?
count 2.
Okay.
For count 3, we, the jury, unanimously find the state has proven the following listed statutory aggravating circumstance or circumstances beyond a reasonable doubt. 1, the murder was knowingly committed, solicited, directed, or aided by the defendant while the defendant had a substantial role in committing or attempting any first-degree murder. We, the jury, unanimously agree that the defendant shall be sentenced to imprisonment for life. And for count 4, we, the jury, unanimously find that the state has proven the following listed statutory aggravating circumstance or circumstances beyond a reasonable doubt. 1, the murder was committed against a person less than 12 years of age and the defendant was 18 or older. 2, the murder was knowingly committed, solicited, directed, or aided by the defendant while the defendant had a substantial role in committing any first-degree murder. We, the jury, unanimously agree that the defendant shall be sentenced to imprisonment for life.
All right, and that's signed by each of the jurors?
Correct.
All right, you can turn that document into the court staff.
So, on count 1, guilty of second-degree murder. Count 2 was guilty of first-degree. The first-degree murder has a mandatory life sentence, which means eligible for parole after serving 51 years. So I think the jury had to vote on the other 3, and they said life, life, and life, which is not LWOP. So it's up to the judge to decide in September then, as they say, if it's going to be life, if it's going to be multiple sentences consecutive, which will then be LWOP. You know what I mean? We'll have to wait and see.
Anything further from the state?
No.
Anything further on behalf of Mr. Taylor?
No, Your
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I appreciate very much your service for the last week plus to the court and your community. You'll be discharged from this case and from your jury service. You can step down the hallway with the court officer.
Debbie says, even life with parole means you wouldn't have a chance until he's 81.
All right, Mr. Taylor, you can have a seat. Mr. Taylor, you've heard the verdict in terms of the punishment. Counts 2, 3, and 4, that the jury's imposing a life sentence in each of those counts. That verdict will become the judgment of the court. We'll set this on 9/9 for any sentencing issues, merger issues. And if that date doesn't work, Mr. Brand, just let us know in advance.
Yes, thank you.
All right, let Mr. Taylor step in the back.
Oh dear. He's been out on bond this whole time, so he's about to go to
Oh, it will be adjourned.
jail. He's about to go to jail. That was fast. We didn't even see him get tapped. Bye everyone. Right, oh, they're all just going now. That's it. I mean, anything else? Judge, we're going to get separation anxiety. That wasn't nice how you just left us. So counts 2, 3, and 4, life, which means with the possibility of parole. But the judge will decide, and the judge will have to decide if consecutive, if concurrent, and even if it ends up being life. Damn, he'll be 81 years old when he's when he's eligible for parole. Damn, they just end the stream like that as well. Sis, how dare you abandon us like that without any waffling. I don't like it. So they said 9/9, 9th of September, 2026. We better write that down, and you guys got to remind me, okay? I'm sure we'll know by then as well, but like we better write that down. Sentencing 9/9, 9th of September. Write it down, everybody. I'll also put in the pinned comments, right? And then we'll meet again for that. Until then, no, I'm just kidding. Imagine if I only see you then again. Bye, everyone. Till then. Never. So, thank you for watching this trial with me. Justice for Jade Benning, who was only 25 years old. Life support was turned off on her 25th birthday. She technically died when she was 24, you know what I mean? But life support turned off when she was 25. Shame. Justice for Jade Benning and her unborn daughter, Ivy Blair, was served. And yeah, we'll see what the sentencing will bring. I really appreciate you all being here with me. Whether you just popped in when you could, whether you were here, some of you were here with me all day, every day. I appreciate it so much, and I look forward to watching the next trial with you. In the meantime, make sure you check out my video section, the other live streams, because, you know, in a lot of these cases, not this one, this was not a good example, but we cover things from maybe when the person is missing, to then someone is arrested, to then we go to the first hearing, then we go to all the hearings and things, and then we end up at the trial. And it's always great to follow the case from beginning to end. There's lots of cases that I cover in between. So I'll be doing that for a little bit again till the next trial. And I hope to see you all there. Thank you, mods. Thank you, Grizzly Cat. Mamushka, thanks for helping as well. Patrons, members, subscribers, leave some comments below. Let me know what you think. What do you think in the comments below about the verdict for the actual counts, about the verdict for the sentencing, and the trial in general. Brown Eyed Gal, thank you for the $10 sticker. I'll see you all again very soon. In the meantime, stay safe.